So that's one video out of the way. If you haven't been paying attention and this is the first one that you clicked on, this is basically running through the collector's editions that I have far too many of in a video game collection that I have far too many in, to basically just go over all the different ones that I wasted my time and money on to some extent. Because there was a time where, well, if you've seen the other video, you know this already, but there was a time where if I was going to get a game, no matter how much or how little I wanted it, as long as I was planning on buying it, I was going to get the biggest and baddest and most expensive collector's edition that that game had to offer. There was eventually a time that broke the straw that broke the camel's back. But anyway, that was one side of it done. I've already got the Nintendo one done. This one is going to be the Xbox one done. That is the Xbox Series that's terrible. Xbox One, Xbox Series, Xbox family of consoles. How's that? Because that makes a bit more sense on there. So we're going to cover all of them in here, and there's also going to be 3 other videos in this series. We've already got the Nintendo one uploaded. We've got this one here for the Microsoft stuff. We have a Sony one, and then we're going to have a PC/other one, because I do think I have 1 or 2 other miscellaneous ones that I will include with the PC just for the sake of it. But anyway, this is all the stuff, collector's editions, etc., for the Microsoft Xbox stuff. Now this one is actually one of my favorite ones, just because of the game, everything it is, how fitting it is, and just how kind of strong and all it is. So you got the limited collector's edition of Alan Wake on Xbox 360. Now, it's a pretty big, hefty boy. It's pretty hardcore, pretty strong, because as you know, Alan Wake is a writer. So this one is designed to look like a book. Now, even though those are all pages, it's not really, because it is kind of a textured thing though, like a well, we call it a textured book finish. It opens up, you've got a book signed by Alan Wake, but on the inside it's all a lie, because all this pops right on out. There's plenty of stuff in here though. So let's see what we have. We have some postcards from Bright Falls, from Deerfest. Everyone loves Bright Falls. Alan Wake is such a good game. It's such an atmospheric game. I'm such a big fan of everything about it, especially, you know, the characters, the voice actors they use. I mean, they have Vinnie Gognitti from Max Payne in there as well. And it's such a good thing. I love Twin Peaks, so it works well too. This is just the bonus disc and soundtrack, because the game itself is now here in a second. You've got the Alan Wake files, which is, when you look inside, it's basically, you've got kind of telling you about what it is. Think of it as more of a lore book, if you will, but it makes more sense being a file thing because he's a writer and whatnot. Think of it as like a giant flow chart and all of that. And then you've got the game box itself and all too. You've got a psychological action thriller, just a manual and stuff too, but you've got the game in there. Overall, I do think it was nice. If I recall correctly, this did cost only like maybe €5 more on launch, because there was only a handful of them there, because this was back when, before, like, we covered 1 or 2 of the other ones here so far in this video, and maybe later in this video. It is one back then when collector's editions were true, kind of, hey, we appreciate you for enjoying our game and buying our game. Here's all this extra behind the scenes stuff and, you know, extra little tidbits that you may love, just as a thank you for loving the game. Back before, when, you know, collector's editions became €200 prostate milk jobs. So yeah, now we don't buy them so much anymore. Next up, we got a really old one here. This is one of the earliest collector's editions in the collection. It is Woo Lad in a dusty, musty situation. I've even tried to clean it up a bit, and this was the best I could get it. But we have Assassin's Creed 2 Black Edition. Now, you might remember there's also a white edition for this as well, where the color palette is swapped. But one thing I actually just figured out just a minute ago, for years it had just been sitting like this. I did not even remember. See, I don't want to tear this apart just in case it rips. Just like that. Because technically it should be like this on there. But, you know, we'll worry about that. I'll worry about that at a whole other juncture. Because this doesn't actually come off properly. Because it's still, there's a huge glue thing on the back of it. But it does open up in the front, like this. This is the Black Edition. Now, it's not an Audi. It's not an Audi A6. There's no black edition. But this is the black edition. There's also the white one where it's color swapped, including the box and all too. But let's get this bad boy out, see what we have on the inside in here. So we have Assassin's Creed 2, the last full Assassin's Creed game I played, and the last Assassin's Creed game I enjoyed, because the only other one I had played was pretty poor. It was actually pretty much the same as this, but slightly degraded, but I expected more and a slight change, at least more of a change than we got, which is why it killed it for me. We have the Assassin's Creed 2 bonus DVD, trailers, soundtracks, and wallpapers. That's absolutely wank. We have a pretty funky textured, almost like a faux leather finish on the art book. It's really weird. It's got like powdered paper. Is that Leonardo da Vinci? But it's got like a powdered paper finish. But that is a different thing. And then, well, we've already had a look at the figure from the front, so I'm not going to bother opening the whole thing, just because it'll probably be an absolute nightmare to get back in. And at the end of the day, surely that's good enough, right? Basically. But yeah, we have the Assassin's Creed 2 Black Edition. No, it didn't even occur to me. The figure is the Black Edition, of course, of the main character, the protagonist of Assassin's Creed 2, Ezio Auditore della Firenze. I can't remember. His name is just trying to come back to me for the first time in decades. But either way, while still a cool protagonist, only the second best Assassin's Creed protagonist, because we all know Altair is where it's at. I mean, you know what you do. If you're what do we call it? Like a cold-hearted, arrogant cunt. Well, you know where I get it. Despite being one of the first ones I ever recorded, which was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Revelations, we're now back, or onto, depending on what way you want to look at it, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Codex Edition. Now this one is funky to mention simply because this is the game that turned me off Assassin's Creed forever. 1 was great, 2 was great, not as good though, but well, not as good as far as characters and story and all it goes. But Brotherhood, while the obvious sequel felt too much of the same, and then the 1 or 2 things they did add in didn't feel different enough, and well, made it awful. So, and then of course there was some terrible glitches and all too, but that just killed it all for me completely. So we have a coffin, an Ark of the Covenant, crypt as something. We got a book, or we got some felt on the inside. We do have a book in here too. This is old school. This is the Musings of a Madman. No, it could be. It's also partially art. I'm not sure. Could just be a bit of lore. Could be something for Leonardo da Vinci. He's designing all the hidden blades and stuff like that. Straight out of Will Ospreay. We have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Roma. This is a big map, which we will regret attempting to open, which I won't do fully because, well, we know what happens when I do that. We have a game soundtrack. Came with it too. Bonus DVD. I mean, no one wants to hear anything about. It is Artworks Videos. Nobody wants to give a shit about behind the scenes of a shitty company like Ubisoft anyway. I don't know what this is. It's an envelope. It looks like I've opened it back in the day. It's more, oh, Ubisoft, I was going to say it's art. Booba though, and that's good. Animated short movies, comics. Oh, it's really weird. Just art cards. Hey, look. All those years later. No, I can't even go with a Yasuke joke because there's a pyramid in the background. Who knows? And then we have Assassin's Creed Lineage. It's probably an animated prequel to the video game Assassin's Creed 2. Is it CG? Yeah, it looks like it's CG. But either way, it's Assassin's Creed, so nobody really gives a shit about it. Assassin's Creed has fallen off hardcore. It's wild to see what they used to give you in like these editions. They weren't even massively expensive. And then apparently I have Assassin's Creed trading cards, which I've apparently opened already. The Prowler, the Barber, the Doctor, the Priest, the Courtesan, the Noble, the Engineer, the Executioner, the Blacksmith, the Captain, the Footpad, the Thief, the Smuggler, the Mercenary, the Harlequin, the Officer. I mean, they're just telling you about it. They don't have stats or uses or anything, so I wouldn't even call them trading cards. They're just like little lore cards. Oh my god, trying to get these back in is gonna be a nightmare. They're just little lore cards for anyone in the game as a kind of peripheral character. Okay, I'm going to just end it on this one for that one because I have to try to get all these back individually, which is going to be a nightmare based on what I just tried to do. And this next one is going to be a weird and special one for a couple of reasons. One, it is Assassin's Creed Revelations on Xbox 360, and the other one is it's a weird shaped box. That's right, you're not seeing it out of perspective properly. It is a diagonal. Is it a trapezoid? Something and no, not oblong. It's a weird shaped box anyway. It's also going to be a nightmare to open, but this one has a bit of a special thing. Well, I'll tell it while we open this up and hopefully try to get it out in one piece. So the reason why this is kind of a little bit of a special one is Assassin's Creed Revelations is the last Assassin's Creed game I ever bought. I know, you're probably wondering, but Q, how can that be? Well, I played Assassin's Creed 1, I loved it. I played Assassin's Creed 2, I loved it. I bought Brotherhood, never got around to playing it until about maybe a week or so before Revelations was coming out. This is actually a felt kind of top, which is weird. And then I'd started playing Brotherhood, and then I bought Revelations Collector's Edition, and, well, by the time I played Brotherhood a little bit more, it had turned me off the series completely, and by then I already had this. So what can you do? This is the Animus edition, apparently. You might be able to see it on there, probably not, but you can read it backwards on the inside of here. So it's the Animus edition. So we have the game. Nothing crazy to talk about there. What else do we got on the inside here? There is an Assassin's Creed animated DVD. That's right, lads. This was 2000, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, something like that. So this is Assassin's Creed Embers animated DVD. We have, is there anything else in that little, no. And then we got the big boy, which is obviously just another art book. This is the it's not an art book, it's the Assassin's Creed Encyclopedia. Yeah, it's not just an art book, it's closer to what you would actually count as an encyclopedia. It tells you about all the different stuff, different people, different times, different characters, etc. as well. I'd say they probably included this with this particular game because this was originally, there's nothing else in there. This was originally designed to be the end of the Desmond trilogy. I don't know if it was the end of the Desmond trilogy. From what I'm led to believe, it still continued on and all as well in different ways, different shapes, different forms. Did all this crazy stuff. Where's this Animus edition? That is this way. It only fits in one way. So I'm not going to attempt to put this back into thing on here because it'll be really awkward and a lot of effort. But yeah, disappointing overall. But well, let's move along to whatever's next. And we got a blast from the past. Again, probably one of the oldest ones, if not the oldest. But no, it wouldn't be the oldest, but it would definitely be up there at least anyway. With the Assassin's Creed 1 Screedo limited edition. Now this was fairly basic. and you know, nothing crazy about it. But let's get this bad boy open and we'll see what's in there. As far as I recall, it's just the game and the statue or resin figure, I think they call it on the box. Oh god, this is gonna be an awkward one. Wow, that game is fucking jammed in there. But at least I can get that out there. So we have the game. It's funny because since this one comes in the collector's edition, it's spammed with not for resale over it, even though there's like actually no difference. So who knows? And then we have our Altair figure. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his full name. I don't even remember. I just know he's Altair, and he is the best assassin you can get. That's right, he's even better than Ezio. See, with Ezio, it's so obvious that after the first game and the popularity of the first one, they wanted to make someone who's, you know, more of a marketable character, the charming, quick-witted lover boy, ladies man, whoa, be careful with that one, ladies man, Ezio from the second one. But Altair is where it's at. That's what you want to be with an assassin. You're a cold-hearted, arrogant prick. Hey, I wonder if I'm descended from them. Because that all fits me to a T. And there's a reason why this guy's my favorite. Now this next one is an edition I both love and hate. I love because of what the game is, and well, there's something special about this one. But I hate it because it's such a big, awkward collector's edition to deal with. We have the Arkham City collector's edition on, yes, Xbox 360. Now you're going to see exactly why I feel this is so big and awkward. As we take this off and we see what happens, it all just starts falling apart and coming to pieces. It's an absolute disaster. But anyway, firstly, we have a nice Batman theme statue, and despite what it looks like, it does look more akin to... There's something about it. Obviously, it's a more modern suit. It's an Arkham City suit. But there's still something about it. Maybe just the color palette or whatever it is that just strikes me very animated series or hinted at by that. Maybe a bit noir-ish, noir-esque. We got the big fancy book to make or box to make the like setup for the whole thing of Batman. We have a drawer on the inside here, which has Batman Gotham Knight. That's right. It's DVD. Not even a Blu-ray. It's a million years ago. You got to remember that. Let's get this back in here. And then we have a couple of extras in here as well. So because this is the collector's edition, we got the Iceberg Lounge challenge map. We have the Dark Knight Returns skin. Dark Knight Returns is actually worth a watch. We have that's just the Arkham City manual. I see something else in here as well. We have some Catwoman DLC. That's just a little bit about the statue, which we don't need, is it? Yeah. Yeah, it's just about the statue, how it's not a toy, etc. as well. And then, what else is this? Oh, they're advertising guides and shit in here as well. So this is of course the game that became the meme with the cover of the vanilla version, where it had like 90% of the box just covered with scores and all as well. It's pretty much something you'd expect Sony to do with The Last of Us Part 2 with all their scam scores. But we have the Batman Arkham City collector's edition. We call it game case / art book. Now you're going to see why this is so important for three reasons. One, it's the game, which of course is important. Two, it's also an art book, which we'll go through in just a second. I see a receipt in there. Let's just get that out of the way. I mean, obviously there's nothing important or faded on it or whatever, but yeah, you'll see the other reason of why. So we'll start just going through this piece by piece here. But as we open it up, very straight away, you see two important things. We have Tara Strong, who is Harley Quinn. She took over Harley Quinn starting with this game after Arlene Sorkin, the original Harley Quinn, who also did the likes of Arkham Asylum, finally retired, and well, that's such a shame. And obviously she did it in, the animated series and all as well. But Tara Strong did a good job, and this was her initial one as that. So it was nice to get her on here too. But of course, the big important one, especially all these I guess it'll be within the last like 1 or 2 years later anyway. We have this signature here, which is when I met Kevin Conroy a few years ago. In 2014, no, yes, 2014 actually, I believe it was. We met Kevin Conroy up in our first proper Dublin Comic Con, and that was fantastic. And I got him to sign this, and obviously, unfortunately, he's died since then, which is such a shame because he will always be Batman to me, as he will to all my friends and many other people around the world and all too. And this is such a great game that it is nice to have him on all of this. Part of me does want to get one more in here. I don't know if I have a separate page for it. Like, there are a couple of collector's editions where I could like justify losing them or like getting rid of them or whatever it is over time. But this is one I would never get rid of. Just because of the Kevin Conroy thing 100% saves this forever. But as far as it goes, I do want to meet Mark Hamill at some point. Unfortunately, he's like, you always hear in America, he's like $100, $200, $300 just to get a signature and all as well. Don't know if I could justify it, but in this case, maybe, because this is kind of special. But the big question, would I get him here? Because one, it would be on the same kind of layout and all as Batman / Kevin Conroy. And obviously on this side, he teams up with Harley, so it makes sense the two of them would be there. But also at the same time, would he get his own page as the Joker? But anyway, last couple of ones, I've ranted a bit too much on here. We got Robin. I don't remember which Robin is. It's been so long since I played this, honestly, I don't remember which Robin is in this game. Because we all know there's a million different Robins. And then, of course, you go on to... is it Arkham Knight, where you have... No. Is it... Nightwing, that's it. Nightwing. I was going to call him Nightwalker for a second. But yeah, so that's a big important addition for me. At least anyway, primarily because of the Kevin Conroy signature. That is such an important thing for me. I grew up watching him as Batman, and then, I mean, I actually didn't play Arkham Asylum at first because I never, you know, you play all the PS1 games, the PS2 games, the Super Nintendo games, you know, Batman games, other than maybe Batman Returns and maybe one or two others, they weren't great. You'd play other games that were on like licensed comic IPs or licensed movie IPs and stuff, and they were just pretty shite. So I kind of expected the same. But then everyone I knew around me bought Arkham Asylum, and they highly recommended it. One of them loaned it to me at one point. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I need to get in on this. And yeah, so that's a big important one. But I'm not going to attempt to put this back in one piece on camera because it will be an absolute joke. So like I mentioned at the start of the video, something like this I wasn't really dead set on actually including, but I will just for the sake of it. Technically it counted as, I think it was either a limited or collector's edition at the time when I bought it. It's extremely basic, so it should only take me a few seconds to fly through, so we might as well include it. But we have the BioShock limited edition / collector's edition. I don't remember which one it's named specifically. This is pretty much it. It's just a steelbook. I was going to include all the stuff with that at least had a steelbook. If it was just a base game box with maybe a cardboard sleeve over it, I probably wouldn't have included it. There's pretty much nothing else in there. You see, it's all just a manual and all the usual stuff. So there's nothing else special to go for. Now, this is the Xbox 360 version. There is, you may have already seen it, or maybe not, depending on how I ended up phrasing out this video. There is another different version of the BioShock Collector's Edition, which also includes this particular steelbook, which, well, may or may not be featured in one of these videos at some point. So this is going to make no sense at the time of just watching this, but with what I've just recorded, I'll just put it in here as well. I just finished recording the GTA 4 Xbox 360 edition that we're going to feature in here as well. And because of what we talked about in there, I went and quickly looked it up online on eBay. There are only 2 of the GTA 4 collector's editions up for sale, still sealed, like I have. And they're starting at €600. It's crazy. And there's like 16 people watching one and like 64 watching the other. The one in the UK has like 16 people watching it. The one in America has like nearly 100. But anyway, you look forward to seeing me talk about that in alphabetical order. But we have, in the meantime, the BioShock 2 Special Edition. I remember being really hyped for this game because it was BioShock 2. As far as I was concerned, it was more BioShock. And I love BioShock 1. It's a great game, even if Ken Levine is involved. But we have the BioShock 2 Collector's Edition, which unfortunately had nothing to do with Ken Levine and was just a separate studio doing a spin-off to try cash in on the name, while he was wasting all sorts of time and money making and planning out that awful game that eventually became BioShock Infinite. And they do say there's a new BioShock in the works, be it a BioShock 4 or a remaster or whatever, but his new game Judas also looks terrible too. But anyway, that's beside the point. BioShock 2 gets a lot of hate, if you ask me. It's not a bad game, it's just it's not nowhere near as good as BioShock 1. So because of that, it gets shit on a lot. But we have a nice, fancy, big art box with all the handprints and all to make up a giant, big butterfly. We have a soundtrack, but like a cool, edgy, I am Rapture, Rapture is me, original BioShock score on vinyl. That's right, on vinyl. And it's got obviously two sides. You've got a whole 24 tracks. I love it has gameplay cues. So for the last one, you'll start getting like little dings and hints and stuff like that. We have a poster of some type. I can't tell what it is because it is fully sealed in here. Let me check the back of this box. Maybe we can see it on here. Unique, authentic vinyl audio. See 3 vintage Rapture advertisements. So as you can see them on there, you can see 1 or 2 of them. They're basically posters and ads that you see on the walls all around Rapture. Then we have the Deco Devolution, the art of BioShock 2. BioShock 2 is going to have some pretty slick art. They usually do. The big problem is a lot of it is transferred poorly. Not necessarily a fault of the developers or anything like that, but it uses Unreal Engine, especially in the early days of, say, anything up to Unreal Engine 4, and even to an extent Unreal Engine 4, depending on the developer, because once they got to Unreal Engine 4 and then 5, it became more of a developer choice. But all the games that use Unreal Engine before that, like Unreal Engine 2 and 3, like for example BioShock and all of that, and the Batman games, they had that distinct kind of claymation weird look. So that was certainly something. Then we have the BioShock 2 game, which we don't need to worry about. And then we have the Sounds from the Lighthouse, which is the official BioShock 2 score. Not the same stuff that's on the other soundtrack, curiously enough. Good thing I have, stereo and vinyl, hi-fi separates and all that as well. You know what, I'm going to worry about putting all this back together just off camera because it is a big fancy thing to get in the way, but that's BioShock 2. Now this one might be one for the OGs out there. We got Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and this is the limited collector's edition. Nothing big or fancy or anything, this is where Call of Duty kind of blew up. I mean, Call of Duty 1 on PC was obviously big and popular, especially if you're one of the big fan base of Allied Assault, like myself, the best the best World War II game ever made. But yeah, then Call of Duty 2 was pretty big, especially as a launch title for the Xbox 360. That really helped it too. Call of Duty 3 was just kind of meh, but Call of Duty 4, when they first changed away from the old war setting, was it was a big one. I mean, not only was the game great, and it's of course got all gillied up as well at the same time, but it also had a great online multiplayer. Something just fell over behind me. That's not good. It also had one of the big proponents of propelling. Oh, there you go, alliteration. online multiplayer, on consoles at least, forward. I mean, you had Halo before it, you had Halo 2 before it. I can't remember if this came out before or after Halo 3. But, well, I shouldn't say you had Halo before it, that didn't really count. You had Halo 2 before it. And there's a few others too, but this was probably the biggest one since then. This looks like it's going to be a big poster, which it's just going to be the front artwork. I'm not going to completely open it up because you know what, we'll get as close as possible, just because you know how awkward these things are to get put back together. We have a DVD for the great SAS. Bonus disc also includes behind the scenes of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare with developer Infinity Ward, developer walkthroughs, and official trailers. Great SAS missions. So basically, it's probably a trailer for like big fancy SAS DVDs, stuff like that, telling us all the cool stuff. And then we got the art of Modern Warfare. Remember when we had these little tiny art books? And the big 700-page bastards that cost €200 as part of a collector's edition? Yeah, but regardless. There's one for the OGs. The game that kind of defined the series, helped all that stuff, and well, it still is all gillied up, so you can't go wrong. Well, next up we have another Call of Duty game. This one is Black Ops on the OG Xbox 360. Huge amount, story wasn't great for the single player campaign and all, but huge amount of fun online multiplayer. Black Ops had been basically the best online multiplayer since Modern Warfare 4, which was obviously a pretty big deal and a pretty important thing. But the crazy thing about this one in particular is I've actually I know where the kind of outside box for this one is, but the problem is, just like the Wiimote that I mentioned in a different video when I recorded it the other day, it's at the very, very back of a storage place where, now not like a storage unit or anything like that, but where I have stuff stored. It's at the very, very back, behind a bunch of stuff, above a bunch of stuff, under a bunch of stuff, with a ton of different stuff in the way, where it would take me like 20 plus minutes just to be able to get into it, and then, you know, let alone get back out, record all this, get it back in there, and then put everything back where it was. But there's one extra little bit in relation to this collector's edition. Because it's not just a Black Ops Steelbook. No, that would be a bit boring for yours truly. Because it also comes with this. And this. And arguably, most importantly, this. That's right, this was the big, was it called Hardened Edition? Black Ops Edition? RC 140, 180, RC 20, whatever it's called edition. But yeah, it was a working little bomb car that they had in there, remote control bomb car, like the one, obviously it doesn't explode, it's not a real bomb, but it was a working remote control car model after the little RC one that they used in the game to blow stuff up. The crazy thing about this, right? I don't remember when Black Ops came out. It probably would have been around, I don't know, 2009, 2010, 2011, sometimes in around there. I don't remember off the top of my head. I would have been 25, 26, in around there. This is the first RC car I ever owned. I never got one as a kid, as much as I wanted one. I wanted so many different ones. Probably the number one I wanted back in the day was the Ricochet, which was basically a nice flat, low down one with 4 big wheels, and then like you could bang it into stuff and run it up walls and it would turn upside down and still work, because the big wheels were, you know, enough to go both ways on the thing. So I always wanted one of those, but this was my first one. I only ever used it once, just as a quick test, and well, yeah, the rest is history, just like my money for this edition of the game. Good old offshoot rebrands that didn't hit correctly. Modern Warfare 2. Technically, this game is not called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It is never once referred to on here. Maybe it is in the game, but it's never once referred to on here as Call of Duty. It's just Modern Warfare 2. This was when they tried to spin off Modern Warfare into its own series and its own brand and own franchise. But then when they realized it wasn't working with Modern Warfare 2, they ended up going back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 for the sequel. But anyway, we have I think this is the hardened edition. Yeah, it is. You have hardened edition on there too. So what do we have here? Again, in typical Call of Duty Activision Infinity Ward style, you've got nothing big and fancy. Like, again, look how sale with deposit. Oh, I remember this. Samantha H. I think her name was Harrington, maybe. She was what was it? She was like a big goth chick, kind of cute, but I think she turned out to be a lesbian. I think I remember seeing her with a girl a few times, but you know, it is what it is. I never shot my shot. Nothing special in here. It's just Modern Warfare. Again, no Call of Duty, no Call of Duty, no Call of Duty, no Call of Duty. The Art of Modern Warfare 2, no Call of Duty, no Call of Duty anywhere on the box. Maybe it says it in the game, but chances are once you get to the main menu, it's probably just going to say Modern Warfare 2. And then you just have all the different ones. You got Ghost and all that. I'm pretty sure that's Ghost. It's been so long since I've played these games. But it's funny because that looks more like a battle rifle from Halo than anything else. So yeah, a pretty lackluster edition. There are other ones and all as well. I can't remember which editions, but there's all different types of Call of Duty games and all in there too. So we will get these bad boys back in here. It looks like there might have been something else on the back there too. Game disc, behind the lines, and a digital copy of original Call of Duty 1 HD remaster, because that was the first time it was released on the consoles like that. But yeah, overall, pretty lackluster edition. And as a quick little bit of a bonus one to throw in with this same one as well, despite just the edition, we actually have this bad boy. Now this is from the big, cool, fancy, I believe, hardened edition of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Or rather just Modern Warfare 2, because, you know, we've already covered why they didn't call it Call of Duty. But they're working night vision goggles, available with either green or black and white night vision. I have tried them back in the day, but these have sat on a shelf. As you can see, they're actually pretty dusty. And this is with a quick blow over with a can of compressed air. This is the big, fanciest, biggest edition. I don't know where the box is, I will admit. There's the same with a couple of others that we'll have mentioned at some point on here too. But we have the working night vision goggles edition. It's funny because they're called like limited and special edition and all. There's a number on them of which edition it is, and this particular one is number 235,138. That doesn't feel very limited to me, but what do I know? I was just a consumer back then. Now, and since we covered it recently, it'll be hopefully spliced in at the same correct time and place to make it all make sense. Call of Duty 3 Modern Warfare. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. See, remember I said when they tried to spin it off with Modern Warfare 2, it was only referred to anywhere as Modern Warfare 2. You couldn't see Call of Duty anywhere on it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Hardened Edition. It's right there on the bad boy. So let's get this funky display box open. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, just like that. What way does this open? Okay, so we got in here lots of stuff in this one by the looks of it. So we got the Steelbook, which of course says Call of Duty on it, unlike the other one. Just on the inside, it's just a disc and nothing fancy. Oh, remember when they had Call of Duty Elite? This was the big founder thing that you got all the big crazy stuff with. You got a better icon and all. It actually really annoyed me when they brought in Call of Duty Elite, because you couldn't easily go and check all your stuff, because the 360 was obviously such a piece of shit that, well, all consoles back then were such a piece of shit that you couldn't open like multiple things at a time. So you'd have to close Call of Duty to open this just to check all that stuff too. It seems like there's nothing else in here. Let me check the back of this. Yeah, nothing in there too. We have our big, fancy, funky Call of Duty Elite Founders card. This is for all the big boys, the Billy Big Bollockses of the world out there. Has a code and all on there that you could put in. Obviously, I redeemed it back then to get all the benefits and bonuses for all that, like the icons and stuff. But, you know, you could be a real big baller shot caller. Keep that in your wallet. Keep that on your person. You know, that kind of stuff. Not that I'd ever be caught dead doing that, but... well, Call of Duty was a big deal back then, so I mean, it technically still is, but it feels like it's not as much of a big deal now as it was back then. I mean, hell, that was the thing when EA were going to release Battlefield 3, and how they talked all that good shit about how they were going to destroy Modern Warfare 3, and then Modern Warfare 3 came out and destroyed the shit out of it. So yeah, and then we have a little. Is this a notebook? Oh, it's like a war journal kind of thing, complete with a kind of crinkled, war-torn pages, the worn look, stains, dirt. There's probably some fake blood on there and all too, just to add a bit of authenticity to, let's see, a bit of authenticity to the deal. I can't really talk about this one because I don't remember how much it cost. I think I saw that let me check. I think I saw the receipt was in here. This cost €90, so it was a little bit more expensive than like just a small upgrade, but not really worth it. But which I'm gonna cover it at the start of this video because I haven't actually shot the intro to this video yet. But this was still part of the time. We hadn't just got to the point yet where I was still in the phase where if I wanted a game in any way, shape or form, I was instantly buying the biggest, most expensive collector's edition of it. And even in the cases of Call of Duty, I was big into them at the time. So I always wanted the best version because it would come with stuff that I could possibly want in game or possibly use or whatever it is. But yeah, we'll probably get that in at the start of the video whenever I finally do shoot the intro, which will probably be after I've recorded every single one of these. This is always a nice special collector's edition that I both love and hate at the same time. You may be wondering why, but well, first off, it is the Catherine Stray Sheep edition on Xbox 360. A game I never finished back then until they released it on PC. I got stuck in this, believe it or not, and I couldn't get by it, and then I eventually gave up. And I told myself I would go back, but never did. But then Catherine Classic came out on PC. I streamed the entire thing over on YouTube. It's here on YouTube. I'm mostly on Twitch streaming now. But yeah, you get the idea. And then, of course, Catherine Full Body. But we'll cover that at another point in this video, if we haven't already, because I haven't decided on this. But anyway, the thing that always annoyed me about this Catherine Stray Sheep edition is in America, they gave you different stuff in the same edition. In this, I think we got a t-shirt. I believe it was a t-shirt, and then in the American one you actually got his Vincent's, like, I think they're hard print boxers or whatever it is. But yeah, we'll dig into this. So if anyone's ever played this game before, you should know Catherine is an Atlas game, which we all know and love. And it's funny because even though it's a puzzle game, there are, in between all the different puzzle levels, there's the small mini life/choice segments as well, which if you're a Persona fan, you know all about them, which are ironically better than the puzzle stuff and more interesting than the puzzle stuff. But anyway, we got the special delivery pizza, hot, ready and delicious from the Stray Sheep, which is the bar that they frequent in the game. I can't remember if it's in the original or if it's just patched into Classic, or maybe it was put into Full Body, but there's a Teddy plush in the bar in Catherine Classic for sure, and I'm almost certain in Catherine Full Body there's also a Morgana plush in there as well, if I recall correctly. But then here's the t-shirt. So so I cannot fold clothes very, very well. So it just says Rave on it with a heart with an arrow through it, as it should. It's pink though, so I'd never wear it. We have the Catherine Xbox 360 game. This one is reversible, so if you flip it up and look on the inside, it is reversible to the other Catherine that's in there. But so other Catherine in here, blonde Catherine, is voiced by Laura Bailey, who I haven't got a chance to meet yet, who I will get to sign the inside of it there. But I do have this signed by Michelle Ruff, which is this Catherine, or this Catherine. They're both the same Catherine, so Yeah, that's signed by that. That's also Yukari from Persona 3. Original proper Persona 3, of course. Persona 3 FES, or just Persona 3. None of this Persona 3 Reload recast voice shenanigans. And of course it's Rukia from Bleach. So that's going to be fun. And then in here we have a couple of coasters, which I would never use because I'd like to keep them in proper condition and all as well for collector's purposes, because they're limited, as the autists say. This is clearly a nice big poster, which I am not going to fully open, although maybe I will, because I see some booba on the far side. Even though it's going to be an absolute nightmare to get back together. So we got, let me see if this shows up on camera. We got the Catherine booba, as we know and love. Eventually I did finish it. I do not remember the ending I got. We may all have to go back and check it on the YouTubes, since it is here archived on the channel. But we did finish Catherine full body as well, which I streamed that on Twitch, so that one is lost, like, in time, like tears in the rain, or more apropos to the game, like pre-jizz in a jacuzzi. I think I can get one more in. There's only 9% left on the battery. This is always a classic. The Dead Rising 2 Zombrex edition. Now, of course, we've got anyone who knows Dead Rising 2, you know how it works. So it looks like a giant pill thingy, as you'd expect. It says Zombrex on there. We pop on and open. You've got a making of DVD. You've got the game itself. You know, back when Dead Rising was good, unfortunately, it's just become a shambling zombie of its former self, to the point where the series is probably cancelled. If not, well, Lord knows I won't be buying the next one, or at least until way post-launch, after we get all that. But of course, the only other thing we get with it now, I think it's funny that this is completely dried up. Even though I bought this brand new day one, and I think I've only ever opened this maybe one time. You have a pen, which is a Zombrex needle. This is a single shot of Zombrex. Is there a button to release? Yeah, there we go. So that's it. This used to be full of blue fluid. You can see a little bit of it in there. I don't know if that was, I don't think that was the ink, because it looks like the ink is still in there in the middle. But let's try it. I guess not. But either way, yeah, it used to have like blue Zombrex fluid that would go back and forth in there back in the day. I used to have similar thing for BioShock, not for the collector's edition, just for something completely different. But yeah, Dead Rising 2, the last time Dead Rising was properly good, off the record wasn't great compared to this. But, I mean, even though we were using Chuck Green, and it wasn't Frank West, he's covered wars, you know. It's still a nice little thing to have. I think it only cost me something like €5 more than the vanilla edition, so it wasn't even anything major. It's nice kind of collector's thingy. Let's get some more classic basics going on here. Dead Rising limited edition, baby. I think this is actually just more of a launch edition. I don't think there was any extra cost or anything on it here. I still remember the day I got this game. I got it a day early, and you know, I bummed off from work that night. I was supposed to be in there till like 8 or 9 at night, because we were closing late that night. Back in the retail days, yikes. And yeah, I managed to sweet talk one of the girls that was working in GameStop and get this a day early. So that was all fun. Dead Rising, good game. Nothing special. It's just got a couple of art cards on the inside. I won't go through the whole thing. That looks like a, what is it? Looks like a map for the Willamette Mall and all too. But yeah, Dead Rising is a classic. You gotta love it, especially getting the Saint achievement and the 7-day survivor, like this baller right here has. Alright, let's keep it going anyway. This time, a great game. Deus Ex Human Revolution Collector's Edition. I know. Xbox 360 version. Pretty sure I didn't have a PC. There was about a 2-year period where I was PC-less, which was a bad time. So most of my collector's editions in around there were 360 games. But yeah, we got the collector's edition. Not a great one overall, but it is a fantastic game. I do think it's really funny though, because I can see we've seen with some of the other collector's edition, like one of the Assassin's Creed ones, how the like glue and stuff has just kind of fallen apart completely. But check this out. Like this is still fully sealed. Like my finger is in under there, in under the paper card or anything like that. It's starting to eventually come away there as I say that, but still it's okay. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna try to leave this one on the bottom off, so if we can just get this off, because you know I never asked for this. I do need to meet what's his name? Elias Tufexis. I do need to meet him at some point. Get him to sign my Deus Ex, of course. Comes with an Adam Jensen figure, action figure. It wouldn't be something I'd call a statue. It's got too many. It's too cheap and feels like all these points of articulation and all as well. It feels like a toy basically, rather than like a statue or a figure or something like that. With the game itself, Human Revolution. It's such a shame because Human Revolution was fantastic. Even if there were a couple of memes in it, as saying, "Oh, it's a locked door. Walk around a corner. There's bound to be an air vent you can go through to get in there instead. That your skills weren't high enough to unlock the door or whatever." Nothing crazy or nothing special in here. Just a bonus DVD. And then Mankind Divided, which was the sequel, turned out to be shite. And to the point where it's probably so shite that it's like extra guns and other hands and stuff like that for all of this. But basically to the point where it's just so disappointing and bad that, well, they allegedly say the series is shelved. It's a small art book. It's one of those games that has a really nice, for me at least anyway, I enjoy it, a really nice cyberpunk future aesthetic. Because there's so many different cyberpunk aesthetics and all. And this is one of the ones with like jagged edges and diamonds and geometry everywhere. Which some people don't like, but I love it. I think this particular rendition and representation of future cyberpunk stuff is really good. The idea is good, of the game is good too. So that's a good one. It's always funny actually, when I was in a place in Germany, they had I think it was a vet that was called Praxis, which, you know, is one of the big augmentation things in this game. Now this is probably going to be a fun one because of what it is, because it's time to kick ass and open Duke Nukem Forever, the Balls of Steel edition. I don't have the best Duke Nukem voice, but you know, I've got balls of fail. Keycard. I don't need no fucking keycard. But either way, this game finally exists. Unfortunately, let's this is packed tightly like some of Duke's twins. But let's get the game out first. It's just a basic vanilla copy game in there too. Let's see what else we have. We have, I don't even know. I don't even know what to call this. Is this, oh, it's like Papercraft Duke. Oh, I thought it was going to be like, it's Minecraft Duke for some reason. It's like Block Duke, Lego Duke. So you can actually make Papercraft Duke, which is something I will not be doing, because no, just no. We have an art book. The History, Legacy, and Legend. Duke Nukem Forever. Art from the Vaults. Oh, what's this? Oh, we got a certificate of authenticity. Duke Nukem Forever Balls of Steel Limited Edition. Number 3435. Take that, everyone else after me, who has a different, older version, or later produced version. And, you know, fuck everyone else who has the ones ahead of me. We got some guns, we got some pig cops, we got some more enemies, we got a schoolgirl that we could probably work something with. We got some more chicks, some of the ladies. It's like, damn, those alien bastards are gonna pay. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. That's when they came to take our babes. We got the twins. That actually reminds me. When you play Duke Nukem 3D, I realized this is Duke Nukem Forever. At the very start, the opening thing, it's like, damn, those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride. And then you get to, I think it's the first level in the second act, or maybe it's a little bit later on it, and it's like, damn, that's the second time those alien bastards shot up my ride. We got a Duke Nukem Forever comic. We got babes, we got sharks, we got babes with boobs. We got babes with butts and boobs. It's so weird to say the word butts. We don't say that, but hey, I'm just trying to go with the alliteration. Because, you know, why wouldn't you? We've also got, not exactly sure what this is. And then that happens. So that is not a good one. That is not what we wanted at all. It looks like it's I don't know if it's poker or if it's, there we go. Have hopefully that not fall everywhere. I don't know if it's poker or like whatever or a special game. We got some dice which have the Duke Manhattan symbol on it. We got some chips. Just seems to be 2 poker chips with the the Megaton logo or whatever it is on there as well. There's some more stuff I didn't see in here too. There's Hail to King Everest. Oh, it's ones from all around the world. They're all postcards and stuff. Because I am the Duke. I am A number 1. And then that happens. And what is this other one we have? It's just a Duke Nukem Forever sticker. I'm not sure I'd want to go around parading that, letting people know. So these are clearly cards, like mini cards. So I guess it's like a mini poker game or probably just generic cards with like Duke logos or something that you can just play stuff with. And then of course we have the bust of the Duke, surprisingly heavy. Carpe Nukem. Like it's definitely made of something strong and something heavy. But yeah, we also when this came out and you bought, oh hang on, no, son of a bitch. When this came out, it actually for the first couple of people who pre-ordered, it came with a keyring, a Duke Nukem head keyring. I have it upstairs somewhere. I have to find it. It's somewhere, and it when you press a button on the top of it, it says one of a bunch of Duke quotes, which is always great and funky. So that's pretty fun. Let's start getting as much of this stuff back in this side first as possible, so that when we put in the chips and whatnot, and we get these back in here, and these in here, that they all stay, oh god, I knew it was too good to be true, that they all stay in place. And then we got the game, of course, as well. But that is the Duke Nukem Forever Balls of Steel edition, which is surprising because, you know, it actually finally exists, which I'm sure many people, myself included, thought it never would. So another day, another out of order, completely randomized, video recording anyway. This time, Fallout 3 Collector's Edition. I know, but Q, this is an Xbox 360 Collector's Edition. That's right, because I didn't have a proper PC at the time. Not to mention that, you know, this was a Windows Vista game. But what I love about the Fallout 3 Collector's Edition, it's probably my favorite Fallout Collector's Edition of any of the ones out there, because it comes in the typical Fallout Vault-Tec lunchbox that is so prevalent through the actual game itself, which we all know and love. Now let's pop this bad boy open. I do have to put a little bit of a disclaimer on this one. So first off, we got the game inside. This is an extra special version of the game because we'll try get it where you can see it here. This is signed, I think it was from last year, 2023, if I recall correctly, by Ron Perlman, the voice of Fallout, the narrator and all the Fallout stuff, because as he wrote on here, war never changes. But on top of that, we've also got the Making of Fallout 3 DVD. We have an art book as well, which covers you know, a couple of different things. Weapons, the Pip-Boy, armor, factions, enemies and races, etc. But here's the thing. You may be wondering why something's missing. This is the disclaimer I was talking about. This is usually a Vault Boy bobblehead, you know, which is kind of an important thing for the course of the entire game. Now, I have this bobblehead somewhere. I actually looked for it for the purposes of this video, but I cannot find it. The room that I keep all that stuff in is an absolute shambles right now. And honestly, I cannot find it. I looked everywhere that I could get easy access to without having to pull the whole room apart. And when I say pull the room apart, I'm talking, we got boxes upon boxes upon boxes like 6 foot high, stacked 3 or 4 deep, just to pull out in the way of something in a very small room. So it was not an option. But regardless, we do love Fallout 3. It's a great game. Frankly, I just wish Fallout 3 would get a special edition or a remaster or whatever you want to call it, just like, say, Skyrim has done a million times, only for one reason. Only because I would like it to be stable to run on PC, because it's a Windows Vista game. When you run Fallout 3 on PC, even heavily modded, it is still very, very unstable, which is such a shame. Because right now, yes, you're going to hear me say this, to me, the best version of Fallout 3 you can possibly play right now is the Xbox 360 version running on backwards compatibility on Xbox Series X, where it runs at not only 4K, but it runs at 60 FPS. It's getting crazy. We're almost finished with the stack that's beside me, which is, you know, all types of games from all types of platforms, so it's kind of irrelevant when you're hearing this. But after this, after I've done this little section of stuff that I have beside me, there's only one last big section. It has probably about maybe a dozen games, and then I'm finally done recording this. Then I just have to edit the entire thing. But that was then, and this is now, and with this is Fallout New Vegas Collector's Edition, which is a pretty funky one. Yes, it's on 360. An edition that, or a version of the game that, well, heavily crashed and was nothing but problems. I remember when Halo Reach came out, I think it was like a day or two after Fallout New Vegas, or a day or two before Fallout New Vegas. I just remember being excited for him, like, well, it's such a shame because Fallout's going to come out, you know, 2 days after Halo Reach, so, you know, I'll barely get to play it. And then after a couple of days of Fallout New Vegas, I went back to Halo Reach because it was just so broken. But anyway, this is the collector's edition. I've always liked this collector's edition. So in here we do have what is probably an art book for Fallout New Vegas. Oh, it's a comic. It is All Roads. So it is a comic. I don't believe I've ever read this, but we'll worry about that later. But it's always just felt like a good collector's edition. We have the game, that's self-explanatory, we won't need to go on there. Of course, to go in with the New Vegas team and all as well, we have poker chips, because why wouldn't you? And then they are teamed, so we have the 21 poker chip, worth $1. Looks like it's from the Vault one, based on the design. We have a 100 poker chip, which doesn't say anything other than that. We have, I can't read that one because it just says 25. Awkward. This is from the Tops for a 5. We got a 50 from whatever that is. I think it's Gamora. This one is the Atomic something. And then this one here, we got a 20 from the Silver Rush. I've always just liked the feel of poker chips. There's only like 2 or 3 editions, 2 or 3 games I have that come with poker chips because, you know, why would you need them? But you do have the big 200 coin, which is a big important one for anyone who knows anything about the main game of Fallout New Vegas. What else we got? We have The making of Fallout New Vegas. Remember that? A DVD, lads. Crazy. And then we have playing cards. They're probably Vault themed, or probably Fallout themed, or maybe they're even themed on the houses of the strip. But they are fully sealed. So they will stay vault fresh for another day. You know what? I'll put this back in a sec. I suppose it was bound to happen. We would eventually need to cover this. But here we are. Yes, it is Final Fantasy 13, aka hold forward to win kind of thing. Final Fantasy 13 Limited Collector's Edition. Now, as a general rule, this wouldn't be anything big or important. A fun fact, I did actually get this a day before launch. GameStop weren't selling it till Friday, and there was a place down the road that was selling it on Thursday. So me and someone else went down, picked up the only 2 copies they had, and yeah, that was pretty fun. So like I said, the only 2 copies of the limited collector's edition that they had, and that was it. So on top of that, we have a Final Fantasy 13 original sound selection. So it's obviously not the full OST, but got nice art on the front of it, even if it's full of questionable characters and design choices and whatnot in the game. We have some art cards. So let's see what else we got. We got Lightning on Odin. We got Snow on Shiva. We got Zaz on Brunhilde. Oh, they're double-sided. We've got Fang on Bahamut. We have, I think his name is Hope. It's either Hope or Fate on Alexander. And we have, I'm not even going to remember her name. It's not Sarah, is it? On Hekantonshire? Well, I'm going to butcher that pronunciation, but let's get these back where they should be. And this is only a shitty little paper one, so I'm hoping it doesn't rip. There we go. That's fine. We got some stickers. You know, why not? There's like a LaCie brand, another LaCie brand. We've got the, what do we have here? We got ourselves an art book. You know, art books are art books. Snow Villers. What a Hope Estian. Sid. I love how I'm just like opening on Nora. I'm just on random pages and just like ended up on the main characters. But the only other kind of thing that kind of ties all this together, that makes me give any type of a shit about it, and it's not even because it's just Final Fantasy, which everyone knows I'm a partially relentless Final Fantasy fanboy, but it is the fact that years later, despite after purchase and all of this, I did get it signed by Ali Hillis, which is Lightning. So, you know, that's a little bit of a special, personalized one for me, especially because as well, what's actually really funny is when you look, there are 3 discs. Yeah, there's 3 discs in this bad boy because it's an Xbox 360 game. Whereas if you play this on the PS3, it's just 1 Blu-ray. So that's pretty funny. It's also one of the like 7 games that was primarily designed on PS3 and then ported over to the Xbox 360. Which is funny because when I was going for the 1000 gamer score in this, I was looking up how to do some of the achievements and stuff like that as well. And I'm looking, I'm like, why the hell does it look so much better on this video that I'm looking at? It turns out it's native 1080p on PS3 because that's what it's designed for, and it's something like 540p on the Xbox 360, which is kind of a shame. If I'd known that at the time of launch and going into it, obviously back then it was harder to find out that stuff, especially in advance, I would have bought it on that, but here we are. Then another one that can be judged whatever way it is. Now, I couldn't get the big fancy, I think it was called Crystal edition of this game. But we have Final Fantasy 13 2 Limited Collector's Edition. Yeah, I know. Such and such, not a great game. Possibly the worst Chocobo team ever created as well. I think it's the Crazy Chocobo or Mad Chocobo, whatever it is. It's not the regular team, it's the other one, but we'll bust into here as we go. We got some art cards, which is still, you know what, these are still fully sealed. We're not going to pop these open. I don't even remember the characters' names or anything like that, just because. But yeah, we want to keep some of this stuff as mint and limited and sealed as possible. If you know, you know. We got the sound selection for 13.2, just like we did with 1, so it's only a select number of tracks in the thing. We have, I don't know if this is going to pick up correctly on the camera. It's one of those shifting art thingies of lightning. Because, you know, why not? Let's bust out in here what we got too. We have an art book, which has many different generic Final Fantasy things. Oh, you know what? I just remembered the girl's name from Final Fantasy 13 in the other part. It's Vanille. I was thinking Hope or Sarah, but it's actually Vanille. And then we have the generic game case in here too. But the big important one is just like Final Fantasy 13, and which we won't see in this video because 13.3 Lightning Returns is not a collector's edition or anything like that. But signed by Ali Hillis, Lightning herself. Just like the other 2 games in the series. Another fun one actually, from back when gaming was good. We have the Gears of War Limited Collector's Edition. Like many others, it's just many early 360 games with collector's editions, at least anyway. It's just a double-sized kind of collector's tin with a sleeve. It's got the Omen on it, which we all know and love. Got some fancy art on the back with Marcus and General Aram, and of course the squad, Delta. I'll pop this bad boy open. See what we got on the inside. This is the important stuff. So we have the Destroyed Beauty, which is the art of Gears of War, which covers a little bit of lore, but also, you know, art for days on there too. We have the manual, nothing important there. We have just helplines and stuff. Free trial for Xbox Live, because Gears of War was another one of those games that really did wonders for multiplayer. But the big important one we want with this one, because earlier this year I got to meet Marcus, Phoenix, John DiMaggio himself. Fight through the pain! Good shit. Brothers to the end. Brothers to the end. We get all this bad boy back in together. We get all that in. Gears of War is another one of those games I played a ridiculous amount of. I actually finished the game before it launched, because about a week or so before the game came out, went to a big kind of convention thing called Toys for Big Boys up in Dublin at the time, and they are actually letting people play Gears of War. There's a bunch of pods with it there as well. Played through the whole game in co-op. Finished it in pretty much one sitting. It was crazy. It took pretty much all day, but it was good shit. Good collector's edition though. Again, it's another one of those ones, cost maybe €5 or €10 more than the original version of the game, because, well, it was back when games were just a thank you for, or these editions were a thank you for buying and enjoying the game. Now we got another kind of personal favorite, although this one leans more to the game, what it means and how good it is and all as well, but we got Gears of War 2 Limited Edition. So this is the real GOW. None of that fake ass God of War shit. But God of War predates Gears of War. Doesn't matter. Gears of War is so much better than God of War. Especially new fucking cooked out SJW God of War. Probably shouldn't hold them like this because it's probably going to fall. Oh, it's not. So you got a slip cover. We got all sorts of shenanigans in here. We got a nice steel book with our Lancer all over it, front and back. On the inside, we got 2 discs. We got a bonus disc. Look at this. It still has a big crazy ass receipt too. We have our manual and all as well. Nothing special. It's just a manual too. And then we have like What is this? Is this a free game time? Yeah, free like a limited game time thing on it as well. So let's get that back in there for the moment. And then in here we have our Beneath the Surface, an inside look at Gears of War 2. Oh, something's dropping. This is Dom's photo of him and Maria. Feels bad. Feels nostalgia, man. All around me are familiar faces. And then we have all on the interior, the characters, bits about them, their design, enemies, a couple of bits of lore, areas. Pretty funky. I was always a big Gears fan. I love Gears 1 to 3. Shame about Judgment. We don't really count that because it's a different studio. Same about Gears, or about Gears 4, and then, well, Gears 5. Hopefully Emergence Day, or E-Day, is going to be good. It looks like they're going back to what made Gears great and what made people love it. And clearly they're trying to distance themselves from Gears 4 and 5. So, yeah, the gameplay in 4 and 5 wasn't necessarily bad. 4 was more linear than, 5. Obviously, 5 sucked because of the open world. But yeah, I won't get into it. This isn't a review of the whole thing. This is the Gears of War 2 Limited Edition. And we got another one of these big hidden box bad boys here, which, again, I just know it's... No. But anyway, it's a pretty nondescript box, isn't it? Well, you may think that, but it's actually Gears of War 3. So this is actually shaped like one of the data tapes and all like that for specifically it's Adam Phoenix, which is Marcus Phoenix, his main character. It's his father, which is heavily story related and all as well. But this comes with a couple of cool other extra stuff. So we have Adam Phoenix's cog medal, which we can pop on open. We can get in here as well. Now we will get this out. This is awkward from what I remember, but there's a reason. There's two reasons why we want to get this out. Because one, you have closely embroidered on Dr. Adam Phoenix for service to humanity. But if we flip it over, you have property of the coalition of ordered governments. Now, you can't really see it on here, but there's actually a small little code in there as well that I redeemed for good stuff. If I recall correctly, it's been a while. You will have to forgive me. I think it was Adam Phoenix skin or something like that, but I just remember because I actually looked at it at one point and I did not notice the code. And then someone else I knew who had one, he bought it at the same time as me. Well, he bought it the next day. I got it at a midnight launch. He got it the next day. He opened his one and said, "Oh, did you redeem your code on the back of the thing?" I'm like, "What?" Didn't even see it. So there's my dragon stare. What? Literally. But then we have a flag, which, they wrap all the important stuff in, some personal effects and all of that, and they hand to the wife or the son or anything like that. You've got the Octus medal, Professor Adam Phoenix. We've got some other little doodads that are in here, all messages and notes, a handwritten letter from Adam to Marcus. And what else we got? It's always wild because they're talking about, we got some blueprints for the Hammer of Dawn. Schematics. There's all this reminiscing and talking and, they're totally making a Last Will and Testament of Adam Jonathan Phoenix. Tells all about him and what he's left and all of that as well. We won't read in the full details of it, but it covers the likes of, well, not the will, but what I was about to say was all the talk of the possible Marcus Phoenix edition that'll probably never materialize. But it would be nice because I have Gears 4, 5 and Ultimate Edition on PC, but you know, I would like a remaster, possibly a remaster 2 and 3, or at least even the originals 2 and 3, just ported to PC where I can play them properly. But that's not it. There's also the art and design of Gears of War. So this comes with everything. So we have Gears of War 1, November 7, 2006. It's wild it's been that long. November 7, 2007. Or sorry, 2008, 2 years later. And then September 20th, 2011. You think they would have went November 7, November 7, November 7. But I guess not. All the different maps. Different logos. The team. We're definitely going to skip that because we don't want to see any Cliffy B in there. Fucking Ponce, we hate him. We got some Gears. I do love me some Gears of War. Gears of War 1 to 3, fantastic. No, I opened it up and he's there. I played myself like a damn fiddle. But the reason why there's this big, fancy, crazy-ass collector's edition is it comes with a giant Marcus Phoenix statue. It's got a loose gun, you can, you know, it's designed because it actually doesn't come in there, it comes out separately, and you can put it in like different places and stuff. But I think this is the proper one. When you look like, it does look like he's leaning on the gun. I think it actually can go up into his hand. But yeah, there we go, that looks a bit better. It's a bit more secure as well. So you have a nice big kneeling Marcus Phoenix. But it's crazy to see when you have like the original Gears trilogy and just how good it was, how good the characters were, the story was, and the gameplay was. And then obviously 4, the gameplay was fine, but the characters and story were just a disappointment. And then Gears 5 got even worse because it doubled down on the shitty characters and shitty all that. But it did kind of redeem itself for a split second with the ending, which I won't spoil or anything like that. But it's just so funny that the next Gears game we have, which is Gears Emergence Day, is a prequel because they want to distance themselves from the shittiness that is Gears 4 and Gears 5, and they want to go back to the characters that people love. And it's funny because the characters and story and setting that people love, because it is funny when you wonder and you play Gears 4 and 5 and you think, oh, the Coalition, they ruined it all, they don't know how to write good characters. The thing is they do, because in Gears of War 4, when you meet Marcus and the original characters, and they're still written like the original characters, aka written really well, it means that they did a conscious choice to write poorly for the new generation of characters, which is probably to be more in tune with the new generation, the younger generation. Now that makes me feel old of Gears players, but it's to the detriment of the game. But luckily, they can never take away Gears 1, 2, and 3 from me. Now I gotta give a bit of context on this next one. So this is the most disappointing collector's edition I have ever bought. That's right, ever. Throughout all this video series and all as well, I've always alluded to one. And if you've ever watched streams or talked to me in other videos or chats or whatever it is, you know that I've always brought this one up as the biggest, most disappointing one as well. Now, on top of all of that, it was in such a poor state, because it's low quality box and all as well, that I opened it to put it all back together to get the full effect of this video, and I could not get it back together properly because it's all so low quality and warped and all of that as well. But anyway, we will go with the Gears of War Judgment Kilo Squad Edition. This is a GameStop exclusive, which should have been my first warning. Now, you might not see the box here and get a proper idea of the size of it, but let's just say, like, I have a decent size hand. It's like almost twice the size of my hand span, okay? So it's a big enough box. This is what's in it. All right, obviously it slides and all too. So, you know, you have a big box like this. You're wondering, like, okay, it's going to be, you see on the back, there's a cool, like, Damon Baird figure. Okay, yeah, deadly, right? That's going to be baller. And then you see the size of this and all as well. Now, I remember when I was buying this, it was handed to me, and I asked, "Oh, is this just a display box, or is this the real thing?" He goes, "No, it was still fully sealed at the time." So I'm like, "Okay, that's a bit weird, but you know, fair enough. We know what's in there." So anyway, we open. See, it's still just kind of like the corners and all are warped because the box is so poorly made. already made. And then, right, on the inside we had here, okay, that's cool. That's a little bit disappointed and all as well. It was like shrink wrapped to the inside here. You have the game on one side. So right, the figure is like a big box underneath and all as well. So then you lift this up, okay? And I can't have it shrink wrapped to this, but it was stuck here. This is the size of the figure. This is something you would pick up in, I don't know, Forbidden Planet or a sci-fi gaming shop or anything like that, or even like as loot in a GameStop for about €10. I've opened it and looked at it. It's cheap. It feels cheap. It's tiny. It's this size. It's tiny. It's ridiculous. Like, that's how disappointed I was. I believe the shrink wrap side was actually the figure, but it would have been upside down so you couldn't see it. But to give you an idea, it's the same size as the box, as a game box. That's how small it is. And this was something like €90. This was the biggest waste of money, and this is the biggest regret collector's edition I've ever bought. And I only bought this because in the run-up to the very first convention that I ever went to with a friend, in like the maybe 1 week or so run-up, there was this really awkward period because it was right as the Xbox One was about to come out. And there was this big awkward period, as everyone knows, the last couple of months of the Xbox 360 was very, very dead. So I was bored shitless, so I decided I would pick this up. Boy, was that a big fucking mistake. I'm going to make a pun here, but given the notoriety, see what I did there, of this series, this one might feel a little bit funky for some people. I actually have two of this. One is still fully sealed and one is not, which is the one right here. But with the upcoming sequel, or multiple sequel, whatever you want to call it, we have the Grand Theft Auto 4 Special Edition. Now, you may be wondering, first off, Q, why do you have two of these? Well, I actually bought one online. Originally, I had pre-ordered it, and usually the place, back in the day at least anyway, play.com, for any of you European dudes like myself, they would ship it in advance to let you know, to get you it on maybe release day, or maybe like 1 or 2 days before or after release day, because there's plenty of times I got games from them maybe a day or two early. But for whatever reason it was, I think it was running up to maybe like the day before launch, and it hadn't even shipped. So I canceled the order. I got my money back. I was refunded. And I went down to a local place and I pre-ordered one of the, like, I think they had 2 remaining collector's editions, and I picked that up at midnight for the midnight launch for that. So that was cool. And then about a week later, I got no emails saying that my other one was shipped or sent or anything like that, but I confirmed a refund, and a fully sealed one arrived in a box at my house. So I still have that fully sealed other one up there as well, which, curiously, as soon as I finish recording this segment, I think I'm going to go look and see just how much they are, especially because it's GTA and with the upcoming GTA 6. But anyway, it comes with a GTA embossed lockbox. It's actually pretty strong. Like, it's actual metal, so it is kind of heavy for what it is. And on top of that, we have the game, which I think is a map in the box. It does. It has a big GTA map, as you'd expect. Probably not going to be in the new one, because, why would they be? Rockstar would be Rockstar. So we have the Liberty City map. And then I think on the back it tells you all the places to go, the people to see, the sites. Beyond Liberty City sites. No, it's not. It is all different maps. And so, it's the subway system and all. Now, see, here's the problem with this. Trying to get this map back together is going to be an absolute nightmare. And I immediately regret even opening this. That's right. You people weren't even worth me opening this for, because of the stress and annoyance it will cause me to put this back together. Yeah, I can't even get this back together properly here. I hope you're all welcome. This is all your fault. And yes, I'm gonna make you sit here because it's your fault. I'm gonna make you sit here as I try to put all this back together. Nope, that's not going well. Maybe if I crease it the other way. Yeah, I can do that. I crease it along the same line at least. Just bend it the other direction. See, it's really weird. GTA is always one of those games I want to go back and play because I have such good memories of it. Like a few years ago, was the last time I was in college? No, it wasn't. It was the second last time I was in college. So it would have been towards the end of 2017. I actually went back and I replayed the GTA 3 trilogy for the first time since launch. Now, of course, I played the original modded version. I played the original PC versions with heavy mods and all as well to get them running and looking better and all the usual stuff. And they were fantastic. They were still fantastic to this day. And GTA 4 on PC is unfortunately one of those really, really fucking awkward Windows Vista era games. So, if I do go back and go to play this, I will actually play it on backwards compatibility on Xbox Series X because it runs at native 4K, 60 FPS. I have messed around with it a few times, so it was kind of handy. You have your key, which is for the lockbox. We have music of Grand Theft Auto 4 soundtrack. Now, of course, this isn't everything because there is a massive amount of music and all in this game. But there was a few funky songs I remember. I believe I may have ripped them from this exact CD. And I still have on my phone nowadays for like Bluetooth for my car and headphones and stuff like that. I'm just looking on here. See, we have Mob Deep is there. It's not the exact one. No. Busta Rhymes, Where's My Money? No. Bob Marley and the Wailers? No. Electric Funk? Nas, War Is Necessary. That's one I have on there for sure. I think that might be the only one that I ripped off that CD. But I do have a couple of songs from GTA 4 from the soundtrack on. Oh, well, that's kind of poorly made, isn't it? This just fell out. It's not very secure. It's not very locked for a lockbox, is it? Can you even see that? Yeah, you could probably barely. So basically, when I just moved this, it hit the locking mechanism on the inside, and it just fell out. The whole mechanism just popped out. There was a hole in the thing. It's like that's good. This has a really weird kind of textured feel. Oh, something's falling. Let me pick that up. I don't even know what this is because it's not. None of it is in English on the back. Maybe it's just something about the art book. We will pop this open. The Art of Grand Theft Auto 4. Got all your stylized artwork. It's all. I don't want to call it pastel. Whatever that style is. Maybe it's almost like watercolor. I don't remember many of the characters in this game. Basically, all I remember is you have... What's your main character? You have Nico Bellic. You have Cousin Roman. Let's go bowling, cousin. And Packy. Because he's Irish. I think his sister plays a part in it as well, maybe. But there's one other one, which I think might be this one. It's a GTA 4 that has the big black Jamaican woman who barely... who doesn't speak any noticeable, discernible language that they just put subtitles on the whole time for you. What is this at the back? And we have a pin. Oh no, it's a keyring. We have a Rockstar keyring. You know, it's funny. It wouldn't surprise me if an official GTA 4 Rockstar keyring went for a shitload these days. But like I said, I am going to look it up on eBay after all of this. Right after I do this recording. I'm going to regret this. You know what? I'm going to regret it to the point where I'm not going to take it out properly. But it is a big canvas bag. Like we've seen in several other collector's editions. Probably even the GTA 5 one, but I don't recall that having one. Anyway, that was the GTA 4 Special Edition. I should have taken out my other one, the fully sealed one, and just shown it off. standing right by it, side by side, but you know, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I'm going to get all this back together. I'm going to have a quick look on eBay, see how much these things are going for when fully sealed, brand new in box. And, well, I say I could put it in the next one, but this is all recorded out of order, so c'est la vie. Now this one's going to ruffle a few feathers when I say that this is one of my most disappointing and regretful collector's editions that I've ever bought. It is the GTA 5 collector's edition. Now yes, you may see there's a slight tear down the front here. One day I was moving this box, and whatever way I was holding it, I think I was holding it just in here like this, and it just opened and slipped, and I just grabbed it here as it was falling, and it tore a little bit down. So that's feels bad, man, on that front. But yeah, everyone's probably going to get big mad. It's like, but Q, it's GTA 5. It's one of the best games ever made. GTA Online has fucked up everything for, you know, the history of forever. This is such a big awkward box that I have to just open it off camera. Oh god, I almost dropped it. And yeah, see, this is why. This is how and why I accidentally ripped it. But so we have our big GTA 5 fancy collector's box. It's embossed on the top, so it does feel nice. It does have a nice premium feel. This is the big fancy collector's edition. I think there was like a limited edition or a steelbook edition as well, but this is the big fancy disappointment laden one. So we'll take this apart here. Leave that off to one side. Here we have our game case. Also comes with the steelbook, which I have gotten signed by Trevor, Stephen Ogg himself. He signed it to me. He goes, "Does anyone want me to get my dick out again?" Because, you know, why wouldn't you? It's genius. On the inside we have a map, nice big map of the whole thing. We've got our usual little visit Los Santos. Is it Los Santos? I think it's Los Santos. And then we have the blueprint map as well, which is a bit more interesting and funkier. It's bigger. Hopefully I can get this without wrecking it up too much. So you've got like the blueprint map for the entire thing. Let's hope we can get this back together relatively easy. Yes, we can. Then in here we have a key that says Grand Theft Auto 5. It's a key ring. That's right. I'm just looking at it up close off camera, which is so ghetto. It's only on one side. So you've got like GTA 5 on one side, and then it's just blank and the Rockstar logo on the other side, which is pretty ghetto in and of itself. But then we have under here, we have a Los Santos baseball cap. Fuck you. A Los Santos New Era baseball cap. I can't remember if this is fitted or if this is a snapback. Let's try get it out. Let's try. So I do wear baseball caps sometimes. This looks like it's a snapback. It is. It's a snapback for cheesy in there anyway. So it also has a big GTA 5 like kind of canvas bag case in there as well. You can see it all closer in there too. So it's got like a satchel canvas bag thingy as well. It's got some weight to it, but you know, Fallout 76, take note. We're not going to open this because this has never been opened. We'll just leave it at funky and fancy and all in there. But yeah, this was a real big expensive collector's edition. It was very disappointing because of what you got in it too. Because essentially I wouldn't bother wearing that. Like I mostly wear, whenever I do wear my caps, I have fitted ones. That I have a Chicago Bulls one. I have two Chicago Bulls ones. I have a Lakers one. I have a Celtics one. So, you know, with what you get in this, you got a couple of digital things as well, but they're not important. You know, I mean, who's going to care about a blimp for GTA Online that I never use, and a few other things and all as well. But yeah, for the price and what you get for it, nothing on the quality of the game, by the way. It doesn't speak to the quality of the game in any way. It's just the collector's edition and everything about it. It was, sadly, very disappointing. And we'll squeeze one more in real quick in here before the battery runs out on this particular recording. But we got Halo 3. Now, this is, I think, the Halo 3 Collector's Edition, because there's 4 editions of that game. There's the Standard, I think it was Limited, Collector's, and Legendary Edition. Now, I have the Legendary Edition, which, may have already been seen in this video, or it may be seen later in this video, but it will make an appearance in this video at some point. But yeah, the GameStop were doing the Legendary Edition, and they weren't doing a midnight launch for it, so I went up and picked this one up, especially because it's a different edition. So you've got the sleeve, you've got a double-sided box in here, you've got the game itself, you've got Halo 3. Oh God, what have we got in here? That's just on how to play. Free Xbox Live membership. There's an art book as well, which we will touch on. Hopefully I can get through this one without rushing before the battery gives out. So it's not so much an art book actually. This one is more like a little lore encyclopedia, now that I'm seeing it there. But we'll get all this back. Oh, there's something else in there as well that I didn't see. What is it? Oh, that's just a how to play, a control scheme kind of thing. You think they'd put that in the manual itself, but so that's the game disc. But then we flip it over, it opens on the far side, and there is a limited edition essentials disc. I don't think this is actually anything, if I recall correctly. I think it's just like an empty cardboard thing just to complete the look. Oh, you know what, we need to get the receipt back in there as well. But as much as I want to shit on the collector's edition or anything, it's just nothing particularly special about it. But then again, there aren't for many of these collector's editions. But we'll leave good old Halo 3 at that for now. I do think it's funny because of the early days and all as well. You'll see down the bottom in here, hopefully it focuses up, 60 hertz only. That's right, that's how old school we're talking here with Europe. Whoops, I accidentally left one out that I only recognized and remembered when I was finally putting everything back away, but here we are. This is the Halo 3 Legendary Edition. Again, just like some of the other stuff, the box is really, really, really out of the way, so I can't grab that one, unfortunately. So it does come with the, obviously, base version of the game, but it's a bit different. It's shaded out, it's all noir, it's blacked out, front and back, and it has a black case. So if you have the regular edition of this game, you know that this is full color, and so is this, and it's just a standard green case. But then we also have the Master Chief helmet as well. Unfortunately, it's not a big full-size wearable one. I always did toy with the ideas. We need to find a motorbike helmet company that will actually make a full-size replica that works and serves as a protective motorbike helmet. But this lifts off the stand, which I can hopefully do with, you know what? I'm not going to manage it with one hand. There we go. We will put that aside just there for a second. And so typically the game case would be in here as well, but we do also have a fully sealed Halo 3 Essentials. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm holding the camera for this one, it's because the setup is gone, everything is different, and I just remembered this last second. Still fully fresh, fully sealed. But yeah, that is the Halo 3 Legendary Edition. It actually comes with a t-shirt as well, which I still have in the other room, fully sealed. Probably far too small for me nowadays, but that is the Halo 3 Legendary Edition. Then let's bust out some limited edition, limited for Halo 4. Remember Halo 4? Yeah, I bet most of us wish we couldn't. Now this was a really awkward one to open. I do always remember that. Maybe not open. Maybe that's not the correct one. Maybe it was to get back in. I don't know. Or maybe it was. This is looking fairly sus, as the kids say. We got some UNSC shenanigans going on. Wait a minute. Is there a regular Halo 4 box as well? I don't know. Nothing in there anyway. But it's like a file drop case cabinet thing. What do we got here? Can this open properly? Oh, is this? No, never mind. Oh, what do we have in here? We have our DLC add-ons and stuff, and then a 14-day gold trial. And what is this? Forward Until Dawn access. Oh yeah, I remember downloading that on my 360. You could watch it that way. And then we had a trial, but it doesn't matter because Xbox is going to die at this point. It is a failed console, failing console, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't originally a failed console. I mean, I'm going to let's go back a second and let's talk about when it, because this was towards the end of the 360, which was not a failed console, was not a failing console, was not a flailing console, was a highly successful and highly thriving console. In fact, it bet out the PS3 for the vast majority of the lifespan of the entire generation. It was only in like the last year or so when both consoles became completely barren with practically, oh, I knocked that off kilter, of no releases and all. And because everyone had a 360 and had spent all the time playing 360 games, 360 exclusives and games on 360 because it was the primary platform for development for the vast majority of the generation because of its success and ease of programming. Eventually, people got bored waiting for new consoles and they decided, oh, well, you know what? I need to go and play some new games, which would be PS3 exclusives that I've never played. And I will probably forget to edit out that little quick sneeze I just had there off camera. But we got a blueprint for Spartan Thorn and his armor. I think Spartan Thorn. Halo 4. Is Spartan Thorn Jennifer Hale? It says Gabriel, but it could be Gabrielle. Integrated HUD, blah blah blah, based on field assessment rating, monitor kits. No, it does not say. I don't know if that's someone else or if it's Jennifer Hale. But then let's see what else we got. This is a weird little infinity. It's not an art book. It's it's more of like a handbook for the UNSC, which is kind of cool. Is this? Oh, that's just some. No, that's not taped to the back. What is this? Thought it might have been my receipt. Wargame session summary. I guess that's just some more internal lore stuff between all the Spartans and everyone. What do we got on here? This apparently was fully sealed, and I opened this apparently. I don't remember it. It's kind of wild to think that this game is over 10 years old. With how slow and long game development is and how inept Microsoft are. It's no surprise that we pretty much only got one Halo game since then. That's fucking sadness. Actually, you know, it's not even. It's 2 Halo games. It's just Halo Infinite is so forgettable and poor that we pretend it doesn't exist. That was kind of a nothing burger in there. Again, just a little confidential details about the mission of Halo 4, which doesn't really work too well considering the start of Halo 4 and end of Halo 3 story-wise. And then we have, well, I opened that. We have a GameStop exclusive bonus, which I don't remember at all. And then, oh yes, it had 2 discs. It had an install disc as well. I think the install disc was for Spartan Ops. I actually really like Spartan Ops. Co-op is always fun. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to, well, let me rephrase that. Not just for Halo 4, but let's just talk in general. A lot of my friends don't have time for co-op anymore. They've all got kids and lives and stuff like that. But, you know, that's a them problem. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right, guys. Now, a big recurring theme with there's a reason why I'm recording this section last. And all the games and editions in this one last. But basically, there's a recurring theme for the whole thing. And that is big, awkward things and stuff in storage. So, we'll move on to Halo Reach on the Xbox 360. Standard thing. Why is this included here? It's just a seemingly vanilla version of the game. It's got a black box, which I don't think is the standard version of Halo Reach. So what's the deal with it? Why do we have that? Well, just like the other box for a different collector's edition we did a moment ago, that is in far, far, far too much storage to actually get to, we have another properly non-cleaned, sitting on a shelf in a dusty room for probably close to a decade, big ass collector's edition statue. And again, this has had a quick going over with a can of compressed air. But even at that, some of this is just yikes. But this is the whole Noble Squad. So if you're familiar with Halo Reach, this is all of Noble Squad. Or at least, this is all of the other characters in Noble Squad. Because you're Noble 6, who is not featured here. But if you played Halo Reach, well, you'll understand why. I mean, some of them are cool, some of them are not. I mean, you've got, I think it's George, Kat, don't remember him. Emil, I don't remember Sniper Dude's name. But yeah, Emil was like probably the coolest one. And yeah, it's Halo Reach. It comes with a big fancy, crazy, big ass legendary edition as well, which I seemingly can't find. Or rather, I say can't find. 1 second, I'm trying to reach for something. I seemingly, well, I know where it is, but it's just far, far too much effort and awkwardness to get to. Now, there is one other thing I want to check, which I probably should have done in advance. Because, yeah. So, there's this other piece of this edition, which I should have covered as well. I actually thought it was from a different game. So we'll hopefully get this back together and cover it, as we should. So it also comes with, let's move this out of the way for a second. It comes with this. It's like an information drop pod or something like that as well. So when we pull this bad boy open, there's actually a space for the game. So you can get your Halo Reach all up in here, which is now going to be a nightmare to get out. I should not have put that back in there, but you know, I like pain and suffering apparently. Let's get this out for a second. There we go. That was not easy. What else do we have in here? So you are now in possession of the most complete and accurate account that anyone has been able to assemble of a Spec War / Group 3 / Nobles actions. So basically they're telling us all about, this is the behind the scenes, black market, black ops, heavily redacted stuff. Like, look at this. It looks like I haven't even opened, oh maybe I have. I haven't broken the seal at least. Because you know me, like a top secret G, I can do it other ways. So let's see what else we have. A nice little sealed G14 classified book. I already like this. This is actually a little folder. I have mentioned several times for different editions and stuff how like well-made books and well-made folders and accounts are a certain thing I like extra of. So you have all these like handwritten notes, diagrams, accounts, everything. And then we got Cortana. We all know Cortana. But that's a pretty slick one. That's pretty slick. We like that. That is the Halo Reach Legendary Edition, which comes with a huge big ass box, as you would expect, which at the moment is unwieldy for me to get to, and I've justified myself by saying it ain't worth it for the purposes of this video. Again, another little boring special edition here, pretty much just a steelbook, but we've got Clive Barker presents Clive Barker's Jericho by Clive Barker. You're welcome, Yahtzee. We love you with your glorious PC Gaming Master Race. Not a great game in any way, shape, or form. Seems to come with not even anything important. It's just little ads for other games and stuff like that, including what I think I saw for Overlord in there. Not a great game in there too. Fun fact, I was the first person in Ireland to get the 1000 gamer score in this game. I got it on launch, I got it launch day, and I had the 1000 gamer score by launch that night. It joins one of the many games back then in the early 360 days, especially in the lower end name games and stuff, you know, like not the big AAA things, where, and they just gave you a steelbook with little to no extra value, just because, as a thank you for buying the game. We'll just bounce into a nice quick one here. Again, it's more so just the steelbook here. Lost Planet. It's a decent game. I didn't pick this up until many, many years later when I just found this steelbook collector's edition, nice and cheap. So not really anything super special to talk about. It's not even in the greatest condition. That's how you know I didn't buy this brand new, because, well, my stuff would have been perfect at the time. We got 2 discs in here. We got like a little manual / art book kind of thingy in there as well. Nothing special. We got the game, and then we got what is looking like it's a bonus CD. It even says bonus CD, not even bonus DVD. It's probably actually a CD, or it's probably actually a DVD, but you get the idea. As far as I know, there's at least one other Lost Planet game. I know there's definitely a Lost Planet 2. I don't know if there's any more after that. But basically the series has kind of fallen apart. Never really took off, but yeah, it was cheap and it was another one to add to the collection. So we got 11% before I got to change the battery. I can probably get one more game in here nice and quick. So for the purposes of that, we will go with Mass Effect Limited Collector's Edition. Again, back when, you know, you didn't really pay extra, maybe only a $5 just for an extra collector's edition or limited collector's edition. Just more of a, when games were a big thank you and it wasn't as big and stupid as commercialized and product consume like it is nowadays. So we've got the front. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Saren. It could be Garrus. I don't think so. It's probably Saren because, you know, it's the game. And then you've got a Canon Shep, Canon male Shep. As much as we love Jennifer Hale, I was never a femme Shep guy. I think I used her once in an achievement run through because I have all the achievements in this game. We got the manual, nothing special. We have an art book, A Future Imagined. It's always crazy when you think of all the different races and all that they created for all of this. It's wild in that regard. What is this one? This is the Galactic Codex Essentials. It's basically just a quick little lore book for different races and stuff like that too. But then we also have this guy here, which is the game itself. Nothing special on the inside other than a special bonus disc, you know, making of, etc. and all as well. But on the front here, we have it signed by Liara, aka Ali Hillis, aka Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. So that's always a fun one to have, especially because her DLC in Mass Effect 2 was one of the best DLCs ever made. I'm pretty sure up until I played Tiny Tina's DLC from Borderlands 2, it was probably the best DLC, or one of the best DLCs, top 3 for sure, that I ever played. But that is the 60 Hz only Mass Effect Limited Collector's Edition from the first one. Let's throw in another disappointment in here as well, shall we? We have the Mass Effect 3 N7 Collector's Edition. Yeah, put it this way, this game, for anyone who knows Mass Effect 1 and 2, yeah. Mass Effect 1, great game. Mass Effect 2, pretty much improved on Mass Effect 1 in every way, as far as like a technical and gameplay standpoint and all went. But then Mass Effect 3 turned out to be absolute dog shit. And we have Canon Shep. I don't know, I don't care. Jennifer Hale, I love you, but yeah, Mark Meer is my Canon Shep. That's not even Femme Shep on the back. Well, the more you know. We have all EA's Project $10 and all in here as well, which is also dog shit. We have disc 1 and 2, which we don't worry about, but oh, maybe this was the Project $10. This looks like this. Wait a minute. This is Mass Effect 2. I'm an idiot. This is Mass Effect 2. This is when it was still good. So this is the Cerberus classified, yeah, Cerberus network personnel thing. So yeah, I'm an idiot. This is when Mass Effect was still good. You've got your Cerberus network classified activation card, which is, yeah, there's a code on the back there. It's probably the one that redeemed it on the Xbox 360 back in the day. And then what's in here? It's probably it looks like it's an art book. It's a comic of some type and an art book. So you have an art book for Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 was when it was still good. I remember the first time I played through Mass Effect 2, I got like a heavy Paragon finish, and I saved everybody. So that was even more baller on me. But I did everyone's missions, I did all the stuff, I did all their side quests, you know, and to contact you as well. But then we have a Mass Effect 2 comic also. Probably questionable, you know, it's it's post-acquisition BioWare. And, well, we all know that BioWare have basically become a shell of their former selves, so it's not really that surprising. But yeah, so that's Mass Effect 2. Thought it was Mass Effect 3. Whoops, it is what it is. But there's plenty of time for Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 at some point. Mass Effect 3 as well, I mean. Now here's an interesting one. This is one we mixed up before, probably right before here if I've edited it in correctly, or who knows. Mass Effect 3 Collector's Edition. Now this is actually Mass Effect 3 Collector's Edition, unlike the mistake I made before, which was actually Mass Effect 2. Now the thing that's crazy about this, you've got the embossedness as well, Collector's Edition. One thing I do not remember, better with Kinect sensor. Now I have 360 Kinect. Maybe someday I'll go back and play all these on 360, on the actual 360, just so I can plug in the Kinect and go with there. But yeah, I don't remember. This is all basically falling apart, even though it's just, I mean, the glue has basically just come apart. So let's see. On the inside, we have FemShep. Again, we love our Jennifer Hale, but FemShep just ain't it for me, dog. We got Mark Meir, male Shep. Gotta meet him someday. On the inside, we have our 2 discs that we have in there. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Just 2 discs for the game, unless you were unlucky enough to buy this on the PS3, because we all know how bad these games ran on the PS3. Everyone knows Mass Effect 2 and is it Omega in there? That's legendarily bad. We've got the Normandy in an art card. We have another little comic, Mass Effect Invasion. Who knows what's going on in all of these? It's always like random and never makes any sense. It's not in things like this. There's never really related to it all. And then we have the art of Mass Effect 3. So nothing too crazy or special for us to worry about here. It's just all the different armors, all the different races, all the different suits, all the different aliens, some of the locations, etc., etc. But that's unfortunately Mass Effect 3. You know, fun fact, I still don't know how Mass Effect 3 ends, because I started playing it and I was like, wow, this game is so bastardized and homogenized and just generic to appeal to the lowest brain audience and the widest range. It's actually really, really bad. So I got several hours into it, and then with the Reapers showing up in like the space thing where you had to go back and forth, and they would just show up and randomly do this and come in and close in and attack on you, and you'd go between planets, and then you had to keep changing discs because it was the 360. Yeah, it was just a disaster, and eventually I just gave up. So it was not even worth my time playing. Maybe if I do play it, you know, I did say I would possibly go back and do it on the 360 because of the Kinect sensor, but realistically, if I was ever going to play them again, it's just going to be on the PC. This next one is a very nice one. Very, very nice. We have the special edition of Max Payne 3. A bit of a weird departure as far as the game itself goes, but there was always a real funny one with what's included in this collector's edition, which we'll get to in just a second. But anyway, firstly, we have Max Payne 3. And now, of course, we have it on the glorious PC Gaming Master Race. This game came out a little while before I had finished building the PC at the time. No, it didn't. It came out... What they did was to try cook everyone over. They released the console editions about a month or two before the PC editions. So that's what it was. And it's funny because this is like multiple discs because they're only DVDs on the 360. But yeah, it was an Unreal, not Unreal Engine, but Unreal as in like quality. You know? When you saw the PC version, it was like, holy shit! It was one of those big important gamer moments and all of that. So let's see what else we got in here first too. So we have all this, which is, dog, you serious? Is this just an empty fucking box? This is an empty box. Bruh. I mean, it's no Gears of War Judgment, which, oh, believe me, hasn't been recorded yet, But we will get to. Although, if I do this alphabetically for editing, yeah, we'll already have had it. Then in here, we have, is it art cards? They're very well protected, I'll give them that. Trying to get them out without bending. Oh, wow, they're actually pretty slick. Like noir. I won't call them paintings. We got morphine. We got some alcohol and some pills, some painkillers, a staple of the series. A gun and some painkillers. And then some bullets. You know, some pretty artistic noir-esque. Where did I put that? There it is. Photos or art cards, or I don't technically know what they classify as. Let's get them all in under here. Let's get all that back together. Keep it as clean and tight as possible. Just the way we like it. Just the way we like it. And then we have the pièce de résistance, which is all sorts of weighed up. I could have sworn there was some other keychain or something with this. It's funny, this has somehow gotten dusty in this box. You can see it down there. You know, give me a second. I'm gonna grab a cloth and wipe this off live. You guys deserve the best. Cause like this is legit. Like I haven't opened these things in forever. It's not like I'm doing it to prepare everything. You know me, I'll give Max a quick wipe down here as well. Okay, that looks a lot better. But so you got some bullets on the ground. You know, you got Max walking around doing his thing. It's really funny because whatever it is with this, with like the glue, or be it just the weight of the statue or whatever it is. I mean, it's not even heavy. It's just basically plastic, but it's obviously not the most secure thing in the world. I remember years ago when I put this away, because I had it on display for years, but then I needed more space for other stuff and all too. But basically what would happen is over time with the weight of himself, he would basically do like a Michael Jackson lean to like almost 45 degrees. It was that crazy. I remember having to basically bend him back in place to get him into this. Now, he was face down if I recall correctly. And it's not just my one, because you would read online and tons of people are having the same problem with it all. It looks like that can go on either side. But this all goes back into... You know what, I'm not going to put it together live. We'll just jump straight to the next... I don't even have one ready. Oh well, good thing we're editing all of this. And just like all the other ones, it's only counted if it has a steelbook and not a sleeve, but Perfect Dark Zero. I didn't actually get this at launch. Someone I knew got this game at launch, and we played the ever-loving shit out of it. And then eventually I picked up this copy just because, I say eventually, it was only a couple of months later. I do like the steelbook. It's highly polished, highly gloss. It's embossed as well in different parts, so that's actually really nice. On the inside, there's probably nothing super special going on. You got the manual, you got... Oh, we do have some stuff in there which we will worry about. So you got the game. Which one is the game? I am confusion. You got the game. And then you got the limited collector's edition bonus DVD. It's kind of confusing because it's an Xbox 360, Xbox Live on it. Just like that too, but we'll get in here. So you got a guide to modern combat. That's just the manual. In here, then we got, it's like a little comic. with Joanna Dark. Remember when Joanna Dark actually used to look like a female and doesn't just look like a DEI man jaw now? Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, isn't it? And then we've also got this. Cyberdyne Systems. Or sorry, Cyberdyne Systems. Wow, there's my Terminator 2 love right there. We got a Perfect Dark Datadyne card. I don't know what this is really. It's holographic. It's got F1HZ27U43. Maybe it's like an access card or something like that, but who knows. Yeah, we spent way too much time playing this game. We'd be up till like 6 a.m. in his house in the morning. You know, his mother would be getting up to go to work, and you know, we'd still be there playing that stuff. She said she didn't care. You know, we were like 20 odd years old. She said she didn't. Well, this came out in 2005, so I guess it would have been about 19, maybe even 18, depending on the. No, would have been the end of the year, so it would have been, yeah, it would have been 19. So like she said, she didn't care just as long as, you know, my mother knew where I was and that she didn't think I was out all the time, so that was cool. But yeah, Perfect Dark Zero. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. But it's a really nice, heavy, hefty collector's edition. It's pretty nice. And then bouncing into another quick one, something in the same similar vein. We got the Resident Evil 5. I think this is counted as the limited edition at the time, because you could get the vanilla standard box as well. So as you'd expect, it's just a steelbook with a sleeve. The cool thing about this particular one is, where is it? I don't remember where it is. I'm trying to look on it, but oh, there it is. If you look closely on the top up here, I actually got to meet DC Douglas a few years ago, which is the voice of Albert Wesker in here. Not anything crazy or special. We have a DVD making of in there as well, and the game itself. The big fun thing, Resident Evil 5 is a guilty pleasure of mine, but the big fun thing is always pre-launch, there was a way on Xbox 360 to get the demo, and you actually had to burn it onto a regular CDR, not even a DVD, and you could get it in and play it. It was pretty funky, even if it had abysmal loading times. But yeah, guilty pleasure, signed by DC Douglas. What can I say? So next up, we got a bit of a doozy for anyone who has collector's editions in mind and all too, but we have the Oblivion collector's edition. Now, there's a reason why it's always wild to see how this thing goes, because obviously Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft as their publisher, and you know, they had their own publishing and all as well eventually between now and then, but this is published by 2K, because back then, like, it's wild when you see some of those things, like some old RPGs like Namco ones and whatnot published by Squaresoft, some Squaresoft ones published by other companies as well, EA for example, things like that. We got a nice big fancy collector's edition here, so this is just the manual in there. We got our game disc, we have our bonus materials disc, and then we have lots of different stuff in here, so there's plenty with this one. So we have, again, I'll try get this as good as possible because I want to be able to fold it back up easily, which is not working out for me. We have a map of Cyrodiil, the province of Cyrodiil, which is where the whole game takes place. So that is one thing. We have an Imperial Septim, which has the Great Emperor on it, because the Empire is law. The law is, what does it say on there? The law is sacred. Oh look, oh, it's the Skyrim dragon logo. Yeah, remember everybody, they called me crazy when I booted up Skyrim on launch morning, and I said, hey, this main soundtrack theme for Skyrim is just Morrowind music. They said I was mad. They said I was crazy. They said I was wrong. But years later it came out that I was right. And I got my apologies. Fuck them all. And then we have a pocket guide to the Empire. So it's basically a lore book / travel encyclopedia for people visiting Cyrodiil and whatnot too. Oh, wait a second. There's something else in here. What is this? This is my receipt. Well, that was useless. Think about it. This game came out in, what was it, 2006? Still have the receipt there. I was actually going to buy, so I didn't have a computer good enough to play this game at the time. So I was planning on buying a 360 for Oblivion. But through a friend of mine getting a 360 at launch, and me playing Condemned when he loaned it to me when he was going away for a day or two. He loaned me his 360 and Condemned. I was like, wow, I really need to get this early, because Condemned is so damn good. There we go. Let's get all this in here. Wear a septum. You know, I'm not going to put it away live on camera because we just have it all here. So we have our Xbox 360 Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion game. Unfortunately, the start of the downfall of the series, but c'est la vie. Now we got another bottom of the pile one here, but this one I did dig out, so it's a bit more. It was a bit more wieldy to get access to. However, it is going to be big and awkward, and we're probably going to have to do a jump cut on this one as well. And it's still pretty damn messy. I didn't even bother wiping it off because it's just on the bottom of stuff. But anyway, we have the Xbox 360 version of Skyrim. And this is the Collector's Edition. I think it officially was called the Legendary Edition. I don't remember, but it does say Collector's Edition here. But either way, it's a huge ass box. Now, that means it's too big of a box to actually use properly and unbox properly. But I did have the game outside of it, just because this was in the regular collection. So rather than open it up and do what we did, we'll just open this one first, and then we'll do a jump cut and have this bad boy open and everything outside it. So we have the game itself, you know, which all fits on one disc. We have, I'm unsure if it looks like, given the fact that it's got a 15 rating and all as well, it's probably a make your own dealio, behind the scenes kind of one. We had the manual in there too, and we have a nice big kind of canvas card almost map. If we can get this open without ripping it, because, you know, why would it be easy to go? But you have all of the different provinces and all. Not that any of that matters. As much as I did like Skyrim and all as well, you know, it was big. It was, I mean, it's been the biggest thing for a while. People are still modding it these days. It's getting ported to everything these days. And like I said, I can't even talk shit about it or anything. I have it tattooed on my arm. So, you know, that's a pretty big, important one with that. But anyway, we'll do a jump cut and you can see what's in this bad boy before we move on any further. Now, here's our beautiful jump cut where we have a nice big Alduin statue, as well as his wall, his perch, his place of power. You know how it is, but we'll move that off slightly to the side. And then, of course, we have a giant coffee table art book. These are the proper good art books, these ones. These size, these thickness, just the feel, the look, inside, outside. There's just so much good shit in here. And then, of course, the feel of it. It feels like a good, you know, leather-bound book, and everything around smells of rich mahogany. But that is Skyrim Collector's Edition, Xbox 360 version, because this was a little bit before I went and finished building the new PC, which we would eventually get Skyrim on. But yeah, we will leave that one there for now. And then on top we have Star Ocean The Last Hope Limited Collector's Edition. This is unfortunately where Star Ocean started to get bad, because we had come from The End of Time, which is The End of Time? I think it's called The End of Time. The one on PS2, which was a decent game. I didn't play it all, but you get the idea. And then we have the 360 version of The Last Hope. I think this may have been a 360 exclusive, which was really weird in that way, but because it's 360, there's a lot of discs and stuff. But let's bust everything out here. So firstly, we have what is this? This is the manual no, this is the manual. So this is basically, you can see it here. This is the Brady Games mini guide. So it's basically a mini guide. It tells you probably a little bit the characters, maybe 1 or 2 maps that I saw in there as well. Nothing important. We have some art cards. It's funny, I actually remember, now that I'm looking at this, I remember traveling to pick this up. I had to go for, on the bike for the best part of an hour, all the way up to a very specific retailer in a different county to get this collector's edition, because all the other places around here only had the normal one. So I had to travel all the way up there just to get this. But as far as the discs go, we have 1, 2, 3, and the Star Ocean, I mean, it's upside down, Sound Best Collection. What a poor broken English thing. But 3 discs and a CD of what is probably just a limited sound selection on there, like a lot of the 360 Square Enix RPGs were. Unfortunately, not a great game, where it's gone downhill, and it's pretty much just gotten worse from there. We got ourselves another little basic guy here again. John Woo presents Stranglehold Collector's Edition. Now this Collector's Edition is basically just a steelbook. I think it also comes with, one second, where are we? It must just be on the 360 or the PS3 version, where I believe if you buy the PS3 version, you also get one of the John Woo films on there. I don't remember what it is. I think it could be The Replacement Killers. I don't remember. Wow, look how good condition this receipt is for. Hang on, let me take a look. Yeah, it's alright. There's nothing incriminating on here. But like, look how good quality this receipt is. Like, all the information is still on there. Sale with return. Apparently I bought regular Stranglehold and then returned it and for full price and got this collector's edition of Stranglehold. It was bought on the 17th of the 9th, 2007 my friend was working there at the time. It's yeah, woo lad. But I'm pretty sure there's nothing extra. Get it, woo lad? See what I did? There's nothing extra in here. It's just Chow Yun-Fat in Stranglehold. It was an okay game. It's basically like a knockoff Max Payne, but realistically at the end of the day, you could just play Max Payne. And again, another one we can just fly through. This was just kind of a launch edition kind of thing. It's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Again, usually I wouldn't cover it just because it has a sleeve and there was nothing else or anything special with it. But it did come with a steelbook. It was a limited edition version of it. It is really heavy in there. It's basically just, you got a bonus CD. You got the game itself. You got... There's actually some art cards in here, so technically there is a little bit something extra. You know what? These are all fully sealed and a bit awkward. It's just art cards. Yeah, let's just leave them there, just because it's going to be far too awkward for something that's not even important and just completely inconsequential. They're even putting in little Splinter Cell ads on the inside in there, which is kind of funny because I will get to meet Sam Fisher, aka Mike Ironside, in about roughly a month of filming this exact specific segment. But anyway, that's just it, nice and quick, over and done with. Now it always makes me sad when I have to do a little bit of a collector's edition one like this, because it was a series that meant a lot to me, that had many high quality games, 4 to be specific, 4 subsequent ones. So it's like the series got better and better and better, which is not usually the case. Most series get worse as they go along. Like, look at Breath of the Wild, for example. The sequel just was awful. Even worse than the awful Breath of the Wild. But we have the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell Conviction Limited Collector's Edition. Now, for anyone who knows about Splinter Cell, this is where it all changed. Then eventually it went to, is it Whitelist, Blacklist, whichever one it is after this. Once it changed completely. And that is, well, let's be real. They've basically said the series is dead from that, and to the point where they're just going to reboot / remake it. More so of a remake, because they know a reboot just won't do it, because this was a reboot and that ain't it. Fun aside, in Comic-Con, it's actually the 1st of August right now, first thing in the morning, later this month, on the 24th and 25th, it's a weekend affair, there is a Dublin Comic Con, and Mike Ironside, as well as whoever voices new Sam Fisher, I don't give a shit about him. Mike Ironside is going to be there, and I'm going to meet him, and I'm going to get him to sign my Total Recall and my Splinter Cell. It's going to be great. I mean, there's a bunch of people there from Starship Troopers. That's the big thing. There's at least 4 people there from it, but I'm not going to bother with that. Even though I do like Starship Troopers. But we're getting off topic. So we have modern Sam Fisher, younger Sam Fisher, hip Nathan Drake Sam Fisher, looking like they just copied it straight out of a generic late 2000s, early 2010s, modern hip cop TV show. It's apparently what they were going for, and it just turned out to be fucking awful. I think this is supposed to be... It's been so long. Is this supposed to be like where he started before like the events of the first games? I don't remember. And then we have just what we have in here. We have the original soundtrack. We have the game. I don't believe we have anything else. It's just a manual and a steelbook. So that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, Conviction was ass. So the game was bad. And then I didn't even play the new one. Actually, technically, I think I did play the new one. I think I got it for like €2 in a Steam sale or something like that at one point. And I think I played maybe the first level or halfway through the first level. I think I started it. I think it starts... If it's the game that starts in like a public toilet, like, say, the start of Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig shitty Casino Royale, I think that's the start, and that's the bit I played, but it was awful. So maybe the reboot will bring it back, but I have little to no faith in it. We'll have to wait and see. And then I hit the microphone, or I hit the camera the whole time. We got a similar collector's edition up next. This one is Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Double Agent, the last good Splinter Cell game. Not a huge anything with this collector's edition. It's basically just this kind of case with the game thingy inside it, and nearly impossible to get out without you can't really see it here. Basically almost impossible to get out of the case without bending this horribly wrong. In fact, when I ordered this, I ordered 2 of them online back in the day when it was brand new for me and somebody else, and they both arrived at the same time. I went to open mine. It bent horribly. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me try to open the other one and see how it goes. I opened the other one as well. It bent even worse. So just out of, niceness and whatnot, I kept the worst one. So I gave him the completely beat the shit one. Maybe over the years, because it's been crushed in between everything, both horizontally and vertically, it kind of evened out, because it doesn't actually look anywhere near as bad. You can kind of see like a big crease there though where it used to happen. But it was actually supposed to come with a little kind of pen light or a little kind of keyring light or something like that at the time, but whatever way, the place that I bought it from and they shipped it, it just didn't have them. It didn't come with either of them, so yeah, but it's a good game. It's the last good Splinter Cell game. Okay, we're nearly there, but this is one of the ones that I've brought up a few times before in other editions. Not a huge amount of them, but it's more so my displeasure with the likes of Diablo 4 and its so-called collector's edition that doesn't even come with a copy of the game. Not even a digital copy of the game. It just doesn't come with the game at all. But this is another one that was actually in the same thing, where it was just a fake bundle created to scheme money, and I actually didn't realize it until it was too late. But anyway, this one is Gears of War 4. Now, the strange thing about it is this is the regular version of Gears of War 4, not the Ultimate Edition or anything like that, and there's nothing special about it. It's just this. It's just Gears of War 4. So that is what it is. But the crazy thing is you could buy this as the collector's edition, the so-called collector's edition, which was a big expensive collector's edition. I believe it was like €100+, maybe 200+. But basically, it was just so that they could flog off this. Now, I know what you're thinking. But Q, it's a big cool Lancer, like in some of the other Gears of War game collector's editions in America and stuff. No, it is not. It is a bigger disappointment. Whoops. Because this, well, probably gonna have to stand up to get this one here. You know what, with the, so there's actually space on the inside for this, for the game case, but it actually doesn't come inside it. There's a slot for it there. But this was fully sealed, so it's not like it was just taken from there. Okay. We have, well, this is actually fully sealed, so we don't even know what this is. It's probably some art or something along those lines. We're gonna do a quick cut because this is far too unwieldy to get out of here on any type of camera thing. So let's just do that and we'll be right back. And so this is what was in the box. It's a giant JD Drake motorbike action statue thingy. You can't even call it like action figure. It's just a giant statue. It makes a bit more sense when you know what it is when you see the game and all that too. But it's just like, if I had known it was that and it was just sold separately as a fake bundle, there's no way I would have bought it. I would have just straight up bought the like Ultimate Edition of Gears of War 4 or the collector's. I think it was the Ultimate Edition. It just came with a bunch of stuff. I think it was like a season pass and maybe some skins and other shite. But basically, it was considerably cheaper, and I would not have bought this. I have like no real desire to put this on display unless I finally eventually get that huge room setup that I wanted, where I can display literally everything, like every type of collectible I have, shelves for every type of game, every type of book, every type of platform, every collector's edition, every figure, every frame, everything. But that is a whole other project that I originally wanted to do, but we'll worry about it down the line. Now, we've already had one big collector's edition in this video so far, at least recorded so far. It may be out of order, but who cares at the end of the day, am I right? And that one was a bit of an unfortunate one. What is it with big games and unfortunate, disappointing collector's editions, and disappointing games and big, unfortunate collector's editions? But despite the size of the box and the size of the other one, I think this one is actually going to be bigger, that we're going to do a jump cut on it, because it only feels right with the whole situation. But this one, yeah, I'm pretty certain this is the biggest one. This one, and remember lads, I can't adjust the camera properly for this, is our Halo 5 Guardians limited collector's edition. That's right, it's so big it does not even fit on the screen here, or yeah, within the frame. So I'm going to do a jump cut, and then we will be out here with everything that's in it. There's actually not much in it, despite the size of it. But I do want to just point out one funny thing. You can't probably read it properly from this angle, but it actually says game download code inside, no disc. We'll get to that in a minute, but for now, abracamagic. There we go. So that's pretty much it. This is pretty much the only thing in the Final Fantasy 15. In the Jesus Christ, third time lucky. In the Halo 5 Guardians. I was going to say Resident Evil 5 in that one for some reason. But this is pretty much the only thing. You have Spartan 117, Master Chief, and you have Spartan Locke at the same time as well. And this is it. This is the entire thing that comes in there as the statue. It actually is in two pieces. And there's magnets in the bottom here, and there may be one at the top. Feels like there's one at the top as well. So it kind of just snaps and holds together in the proper place. But this is it. It actually just comes with a digital game code for Halo 5 Guardians, and that's it. It didn't even, everyone was pissed off because the big, fancy, expensive €250 collector's edition came with a digital copy and not a physical one. So what Microsoft actually did was they gave you the ability to contact Microsoft, have them link the code to your account so it would be void, and they would send you out in the post a physical edition of the game, which is actually what I did at launch. So that was kind of fun. I couldn't play it like right away, but what I thought was really funny is down the line, even though I had a physical version of it, down the line while I was still managing GameStop, they were selling these off cheap. They'd been slashed multiple times because they weren't selling, so they were down to like €80. And since I'm a bit of a beast manager with beast sales and beast marketing skills and whatnot, well, let's just say I had a bunch of these on the floor ready to go, €80, one on display so you could see what you were getting. I had two business guys come in and they were wearing suits and all. And like, oh, do you have anything like my son loves, science fiction and this, that, and the other? I'm like, well, we have this cool statue here. Was €250. We're reduced for €80. He goes, yeah, that's it. We blah blah blah, and then he said something anyway. And then on the way out, he goes, he doesn't even have an Xbox. He just has a PlayStation 4. But I think he loved this. And I said, well, there's a copy of the game code in there. If he doesn't have an Xbox, can I have it? And he gave it to me because he didn't even need it. And basically, I came home, just redeemed it, and even though the game was installed, it just downloaded the digital activation key, which was like 1 megabyte, and that's how I got the extra free digital code. I didn't have to keep whipping out the disc the entire time. Because believe it or not, despite the quality of Halo 5, I wasn't a fan of the multiplayer. I barely played it. I probably literally, that's right, you know me, I used the word correctly, played less than 10 proper multiplayer matches. But I did play an absolutely monstrously huge amount of Warzone Firefight, the Horde mode kind of thing. But anyway, that's the big, expensive, disappointing edition of a disappointing game. But, if you think Halo 5 is bad, as far as the quality of the Halo series goes, well, let me tell you about this game called Halo Infinite. I don't even know if I should technically count this one because there's no, kind of normal. It's not really a collector's edition, but it'll only take a few seconds. We'd throw it in anywhere. You might remember Quantum Break, that piece of dirt game from Remedy. Almost as do I want to ruffle the feathers? No, you know what? It is worse than Alan Wake 2. I mean, everyone knows I'm a huge fan of Alan Wake. Alan Wake 2 just wasn't it, though. Maybe I'll get around to completing it someday, but just from what I played, it just wasn't it. But yeah, this came with a steelbook. It wasn't even a pre-order bonus, or it wasn't even like a collector's edition or limited edition or something like that. It was basically just, hey, the first like 100 people or 50 people, whatever it was, to buy the game, you get one of these for free. Yeah, that's it. I mean, less said about this game, the better.